Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Fine Ballsmic Wednesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. I think I caught you off guard with the Ballsmic Wednesday, didn't I?
A little bit, yeah. It's hard pre-football to really grip the day and feel what day it is.
Oh, yeah. It's a Ballsmic Wednesday, Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but if you do miss something, all 3 hours are going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. That's a good thing. It's brought to you with limited commercial interruption by our friend Carlton Dean and the fine folks at SVN. CarltonDean.com. Learn more about commercial real estate. Email the show if you want, jcs at 979espnradio.com. Find me on Twitter at jcameron.show. WTSM app for mobile devices. We're on the YouTube's ESPN Tallahassee.
I enjoy the fall regiment because Monday is the day to react. Tuesday is a little bit shorter because of Seminole headlines. Then Wednesday, you're kind of sandwiched in between, gearing up. Thursday has the redemption aspect to it.
And then libations Friday.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, these are the names of the show days, but there's also a distinct purpose and a feel.
You feel like there's a little something to that. It is somewhat lost in the wilderness of time when you have oodles of it and no real games to look forward to. I see how that works. Although, I will say, we are getting real-life football news on a daily basis now. That includes both pro and college. And let's start by congratulating Devonta Freeman, a guy we've had on this show more than once. We had him on not all that long ago, actually. And he's always a fun kid to talk to. And, you know, he made it no secret that he thought if he could play to the point where he could get a contract like the one he just signed, in which $20+ million of it is guaranteed, that he could take care of his family and that he could better their life and that he could change their life in generations to come. And that was his whole goal in life, given the tough background he came up in. And on this day, it happened. And there it is.
Well, we thought for a while there that the negotiation tactics may be counterintuitive for Devonta. He was outspoken about wanting the ball more in the Super Bowl, and clearly that played.
I like the actual commentary there, but you and I had this discussion, sure.
We did, but what it says about trust in the coaching staff and what that might do for division within the locker room, it wasn't necessary. However, didn't matter. He's now, from an annual average value standpoint, the highest paid running back in football. We all know that, you know, when you see the total number of the contract, that's not the real number in the contract. It's very unlikely that Devonta sees the end of the 5-year term. But he's guaranteed somewhere, what is it, $26 million, something along that?
$22 million guaranteed. So that'll work.
He's paid $26 in the first 3 years of the deal, $15 million when he signs the dotted line. So, I mean, that's all really, really good news. And I'm also happy because this further hinders the Atlantic Falcons cap number. So moving forward, this is a great contract all the way around.
Also, it helps and aids the process of recruiting for Jimbo Fisher, who is now routinely churning out guys who go on to make an awful lot of money in the league. And we talk an awful lot about that subject, right? Recruiting and how it is that, the guy doesn't have to go on to have great success in the NFL, but rather at least be drafted. Of course, it's nice if they do, though. And in this case, they have. And you're talking about a 2-time Pro Bowl running back in Devonta Freeman. For running backs especially, such a brutal game. We say this about linebackers, fullbacks, guys that really take a beating and are asked to take a beating and have a very short shelf life. And I've said you've got to hold out. If you outplay your rookie contract as a running back in particular, and you have an opportunity to garner leverage, and the only leverage you have as a player is to withhold your abilities on the football field, your presence at practice and so forth, then you have to do it because I feel like at running back, these guys, they come and go so quickly, and they take such a beating, and especially if you're a smallish running back. And I say smallish, he's a huge, thick man for his size, but he's not a big guy. And so I just think that it was the right move, and obviously for him to get paid now, annual average $8.25 million over the life of the deal. That's as you said, more than any other running back, and that includes currently Le'Veon Bell's anticipated acceptance, though, of a one-year $12.1 million offer, which will now jump over Devonta Freeman for a single season, but he hasn't signed a long-term deal yet.
No, he's got the longevity, and he's got the guaranteed numbers, which are huge, obviously, for that second contract. That's the idea of leaving early. You get to that second contract quicker. It's not just about, holding out when you get there. It's about, hey, if I can jump to the league and I'm a second or third day draft pick, let's get the clock moving because I only have so many bullets in the chamber. Corey Clark put out a couple weeks ago that $168 million the 29 players that went to the league in the course of 3 years for Florida State, $168 million have been earned already. That's before Jameis Winston's second contract, and that was before this deal today. So you tally that up with the $22 million that are guaranteed to Freeman. That's now $190 million at minimum earned by the 29 pros in 3 years sent to the league by Florida State University. That is the ultimate recruiting pitch.
What also becomes more apparent every day with these signings of these contracts and the success rate of the players over the last few years that have gone to the league as recruited by and Jimbo Fisher and played for Florida State is that when you're here, when you're covering a program like this, and I'm sure, listen, it's the same at Alabama, it's the same at Ohio State and other prominent programs that are successful at a high level annually, is that when you really have a feel for a team because that's the team you cover. This is just an observation for being here with Florida State being a central theme to this show on a daily basis because of where we are. You do have a better understanding. I think it's pretty clear. You have a better understanding than the vast majority of those speculating about players from outside of the region from on high. I mean, let's just say it. You and I both talked about at length that Devonta Freeman was going to excel in the National Football League, that he was perfect for the league, that he was a guy whose game translated very well. And lest we forget, this is a guy that fell to the fourth round. And I'm just, it's amazing. It's the same with Winston in these debates and others where we say, that guy translates, that guy's going to be a star, that guy's going to be very good. I don't know why you're taking all these other running backs. That guy's going to be the one. And it's because you see him all the time, and you can compare and contrast what you know about the league and what you watch every Sunday and what you see in your own backyard and what you've had the opportunity to know through conversations with players, coaches, and the kind of intimate settings occasionally that we can be a part of where you say, that doesn't work or that does. And it's true the other way. There are guys that have success and guys that put up numbers or guys that have body types that look a certain way that we go, he ain't going to make it. I understand he's going to get drafted. I understand he's going to be well thought of, but I don't think he's a guy that's going to play well in the league. We do that too with guys, and we see that guessed wrong by people from a distance. And I get it. I can't say that I know intimately certain players and aspects of their game at Texas. And so when they come up in draft talk and people are deciding whether or not a guy's a second round or a fifth round or a third or a first, I'll go to local people who've covered that guy's career in Texas. You just get to know these players that much more.
Yeah, and you can tell when somebody's talking about a Florida State product or prospect as they're heading towards the NFL draft, and they work for NFL Network, ESPN, wherever.
Right.
You can tell if they've watched the film or not.
Immediately.
It sticks out like a sore thumb because we watch every play of these kids' careers. And with that said, and also ignoring the elephant in the room that is the Le'Veon Bell contract, just for a moment, I would have never thought that Devonta Freeman would command number one annual average value numbers. I always thought he would be third down back, good in pass protection, good with his hands, good for 8 to 12 carries a game. I thought he was a complementary piece. I didn't think he would be he's being paid like he's a driving force of an offense.
Well, I think what happens in today's NFL, we have to look at the running back position with few exceptions as a tag team effort. These are backfields. And they're never a singular, long gone are the days where you see a guy come into the league and you expect him to garner 20 to 25 carries a game no matter what. I think there are guys out there like that. One of them's in Jacksonville right now. But they're very few and far between, and they have to be horses like that. They have to be big dudes like that. So what you get is an explosive player who has 27 touchdowns in 2 seasons. You've got a guy that on that turf – and that offense, with all the other weapons, becomes that much greater, as most people would, but especially with his skill set. Yeah, I don't know that I could have guessed that he would be being paid number one running back money. But anymore, I don't think that number one running back, it means what it used to. It means he can catch the ball in the backfield. It means he can carry the ball 13 to 17 times a game and be part of a tag team effort and really be productive in that role.
There is no doubt that, yes, the definition has changed, and that's why Le'Veon Bell will be paid differently because he's a different type of player.
And he'll be paid quite a bit more, and he should.
I hear you on all of that. And it's also true that Freeman is in a perfect situation because, just as you said, there are other people in the backfield. Coleman is a good player.
Nice player.
And then that offense is loaded with weapons. So, it's not like they're stacking 8 in the box for Devonta to tote the ball 22 to 25 times a game. He's being used as a complementary weapon in the offense. But at the same time, if you're getting paid more annually than Shady McCoy, I mean, damn, that says something. And he's in an ideal situation, but I thought even in ideal circumstances, I didn't think the career would look like it has for Devonta. And I think the number one surprise when you're just watching down to down is his burst and how his burst translates to the NFL,
well,
turf or not.
Let's also note that LaShawn McCoy is 30 years old. So he's 25. And you're going to get paid now for what's in front of you, as opposed McCoy can't garner that anymore. If you're a running back at 29, 30, 31 years old, peace. I mean, we're done here. Unless you're just a freak, and some of them are, but it's pretty much, if he's trying to hold out for that kind of money now, people aren't going to do that.
Well, I think also,
not at 30.
I think also, too, just looking at the situation as a cold-blooded GM and not a Noel who's proud that this kid, who has been a great interview, and that's as far as we can tell, but he's been a great interview, great walking away from the camera and the recorders the whole time he was here at Florida State. He wanted to take care of his family, and I feel awesome that was his priority. And he got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets to do it in style. At the same time, I'm not paying him $8 million a year. You can sit on your ass for a season, and I'll run Tevin Coleman out there and go sign somebody off the street if you're going to hold out to me and I have to pay you $8 million a season as Atlanta. That's crazy.
What's funny about it is you and I completely agree on this. On the one hand, we say, hey, bravo, way to go get your money, and you're a really good player who deserved more than what you were about to be paid in your rookie contract. You'd certainly outperform that. And, oh, by the way, you're a running back, you're a dime a dozen, have a good day. Yeah, that's. But
I hold out. Okay,
I feel that way all the time. Look, when Doug Martin's situation happened in Tampa, I said, "Peace. We get out from under that asinine contract we signed you to." It's true. It seems anyhow, and there are rare exceptions. We note that, and sometimes people kick themselves because they let a guy go under the pretense of what we just said, which is that running backs come, they go, they take a beating, we move on, we grab the next guy, and oftentimes that's also the one weird position where kids drafted in the 5th round seem to emerge all the time as an elite level back. It's really more to do with the offensive line, et cetera, than anything else.
If you're Atlanta and you're trying to balance those books with Julio and Matt Ryan and Sanu, and you'll have to get another receiver. Sanu's not going to be able to be there for 2 or 3 more years, I wouldn't think. So another receiver, another tight end. The defense needs a ton of attention.
But I never put a priority on running back. That said, I hate the situation Tampa Bay's in. Every one of those backs suck.
You still think the quiz sucks?
Man, come on. Scrap heap, dude. They don't have a good situation at running back. There's just no other way to describe it.
Time for the pop quiz.
And yet, it'll work. It'll be all right. If that offensive line's good enough, they'll be fine. They get enough in the running game. They just don't have a difference maker at the position. That's the only thing. They've got guys that, all right. Now, I'm not a Martin guy anyhow, fumbling ass. But those guys are okay. They're sort of just another guy. They're a bunch of Jags.
Well,
that's what they are in the backfield.
I think if you look
Sims isn't any good either.
If you look at the way that offense, well, I agree there, man. But I think the quiz can play a little bit now.
Well, he's tiny.
He is.
He gets hurt.
Perhaps. We'll see for a 16-game season.
I'm telling you, we got a bunch of dudes that are just okay.
But you got more weapons that are going to spread out the field this year, so people can't pin their ears back on the line of scrimmage.
You can have that group and win 9 games a year ago against that schedule with no running backs. That's what they did.
If you believe that Sweezy is going to come back and play at a medium to upper level at right guard, and you have Marpet at center, your offensive line just got a hell of a lot better at run blocking. So I think you'll get a better account for who is what in that offense, whereas it's really hard to judge a running back, just like it's hard to judge Jameis and exactly what he is as an NFL quarterback, considering all he had was Mike Evans and Humphreys and Brate.
Well, and he made Humphreys and Braid, so that's
Precisely.
No, I listen. My point is that it's funny with running backs. I'm really happy for Devonta Freeman, but I'm with you if you put on the GM cap, there aren't too many running backs that I say, we really kind of got to pay this guy. I mean, they're out there, but they're few and far between, because it seems like teams get burnt by this all the time, and that you can get by with middling backs that are just kind of placeholders until that special player comes along for a few years.
Well, and let's not kid ourselves, right? Because I always look at the term and then the guaranteed dollars. So the term 1 year is 8.5, 8.5, whatever it is, and you're guaranteed 22. So that's about a 2.5-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
So can you stomach under the cap paying in 2018 and 2019 at an $8 million clip? Because 20 and 21, you're not paying him that money. You've cut him by that point.
And if you haven't, it means he's earned every penny, and you can't wait to pay him some more.
Which is a happy accident, because that's an absolute outlier.
Yeah, it's an outlier.
But is he really worth it when I'm trying to crunch the numbers moving forward as an Atlanta Falcons general manager? $8 million against the cap? I mean, is he really? That's the hard question.
And if it's a running back, it's usually a question that GM Cameron says, have a good day to. That's typically the case. Let's do some Noel stuff. Let's talk about what was Hard Knocks Episode 1. A thought on that isn't the fanboy thought you think that I'm going to posit today, just in terms of the show itself. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford. The place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Regardless of down payment. Trade Assist Cash requires trade-in of 95 or newer vehicle or lease terminated 30 days prior to or 90 days after new retail delivery. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for complete details. Take delivery from dealer stock by August 22nd, 2017.
Out on the golf course, there are the obvious hazards. There's the pond, the bunker, the rough, the even rougher.
Yeah, put me down for an 8.
The giant maples. The row of houses out of bounds on the right. The angry flock of geese who surrounded your ball. Even the occasional groundskeeper you had no clue was there. But if you think you found every possible hazard out there, think again. The hazard you missed could actually be a killer. It's the spot on your skin, the one that could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills one person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. Follow through and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Hey, Wally Woodham here. In 1974, I set the national high school passing record at Leon High with 3,560 yards.
Jimmy Jordan here. Wally, I broke your passing record at Leon the very next year.
Well, Jimmy, in our 3 years together at FSU, I threw for 22 touchdown passes.
Wally, that's pretty good, but I had 39.
Well, Jimmy, look at the deal I got at AAA Transmission.
That's a pretty good deal, Wally. At least your car's a winner.
Don't put off your auto repairs. Stop in at AAA Transmission and ask for owner Tim Pridgeon, servicing Tallahassee for over 30 years. AAA Transmission, 1023 North Monroe Street, or call them at 222-2532.
Woohoo! Banditos!
Huh? Where?
Banditos Burritos, baby.
I have known for some time now that some insurance companies are not exactly being truthful with their customers, stating such things as if you do not use one of their approved body shops, they will not guarantee the repairs, or it may cost you more out of pocket. Here at Lisa's Paint and Body Shop, the work we do is guaranteed for as long as you own your vehicle. Lisa's Paint and Body Shop, 385-2665.
License number MV46050.
When it comes to live gaming excitement, Creek Entertainment Gretna is your hometown headquarters. With live poker and simulcast race betting, you've got more winning opportunities right here close to home. Plus, we now offer 3-card poker and Pai Gow in our card room. Satisfy big appetites at Stables, featuring hot and cold sandwiches, salads, and weekend specials. There's always something exciting going on at Creek Entertainment Gretna, I-10 exit 174, Gretna, Florida.
Attention Pitmasters, the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill in 7th Hill Tap Room are partnering up to host an amateur barbecue cook-off and local craft beer fest Saturday, August the 19th from 2 to 10 p.m. For a $40 entry fee, you can enter any or all 4 barbecue categories. That's Boston butt, chicken, pork ribs, and specialties, with the winner in each category taking home a $100 gift card redeemable at either Corner Pocket or 7th Hill Tap Room. Think you're Tallahassee's Pitmaster Supreme? Enter today. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 7th Hill Tap Room, Amateur Barbecue Cook-Off, August 19th from 2 to 10 p.m.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. If you want to email the show, you can. It's jcs at 979espnradio.com. Quail Hollow, the site of the PGA Championship, year's final major. Go ahead.
Glory's last shot.
I knew it was coming.
It's not going to be forever that way, though.
No, they're moving it. Just as they're moving, more importantly to me, TPC Sawgrass back to March. Yes, sir, baby. Players' Championship going back to where it needs to be, which is non-Mother's Day weekend at a time when it's not 400 degrees. Woohoo!
I heard about that. So if what I read was right, it's in 2019 that they're making that switch over?
That they're switching things up.
So then the Open Championship would be the year's final major.
That's right.
And Glory's last
shot. It all shifts. And by the way, if you don't think that's a big deal, imagine how the tournaments that are just before and just after those majors feel or those events play out, because they're the ones that usually get the shaft. That's how that works, right? People are like, oh, all right, not playing that one. So that just changed. And people are like, oh, wait a minute. Everybody played us. Now they're not going to play us.
Well, you're the new Greater Hartford.
Yeah, it's a toughie. We'll get to the PGA Championship momentarily. Rory McIlroy has played exceptionally well at Quail Hollow. Might he go and win a 5th major? Seems weird to say that aloud.
It's been a minute since he's won one, so yeah.
It has. Anybody but Spieth. So that's just me. That's all I say. So Hard Knocks last night debuted. It was good. And I mean this in the sense that I don't think of it as good because they're covering the Bucks, which I'm always interested in, being from there and being a fan of Tampa Bay and one quarterback that plays for them. I thought they did a good job. I mean, that show has been good over the years with lots of different teams. Sometimes, obviously, I think they get a little lost, and sometimes the angles aren't there. It's good when you pick a team, and I would say this about some other teams too, but it's good when you pick a team that has obviously a dynamic young star that is really kind of affable and fun.
We're talking about Jameis Winston.
Sure, that helps when you have a kid, a rising star at the most important position on the field and quarterback to use as the centerpiece for the show. And youthful exuberance and all of that, a likability, I think, that plays well on camera. But I think it's just true when you find teams in transition that have a chance to be very good and they're adding pieces and they're on the cusp, perhaps, of something that well, could be certainly perceived as a run for the next 3 or 4 years to being a consistent playoff team, but they haven't reached that goal yet. So you come into the filming of a show like that with a team that's hungry, that has shown promise, that has a young star in an important position, and they're becoming more dynamic with the pieces they're adding. All of a sudden, that's a fun show, and that would be with any team that fits that bill. And I think the Bucs check all the boxes there. That's the big thing, is that I found myself more interested in that process than I did the fandom aspects of, hey, I'm a fan of Tampa Bay. They're showing areas on screen that I've driven past, or I know right where they are there, or I've been to that bowling alley, or I know where that is. That's all well and good, and that is cool for people from Tampa and people from that area. But I just think that the storylines are compelling there.
They are, and, to me, I just thought it was well-produced, too. It was very tightly produced. I thought, in previous years, and not to be, Mr. Critic here, but I thought there was a lot of confessional-style stuff, reality TV confessional, where that dominated the episode.
Yeah.
This one was more about storylines than it was about guys looking into a camera and talking about themselves and what they plan to do. It was mostly about the story. Now, they're going to get into that as we get to preseason games.
And actual games and things like that.
But I just thought it was laid out wonderfully, and it could not have been done better with a tip of the cap to the Big Lebowski,
which cracked me up, man. I was so happy with that right off the bat. As soon as they started with the slow motion shot, I went, really?
Yeah, and some of the shots were spot on.
Yeah, it was perfect. And you reminded him how much you love that song. La 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 la.
You're like that fat guy in the lane, in the beginning. He does a little shimmy.
Yeah, Liam.
Liam, exactly.
Yeah, you're loving it right off the bat. No, so here's the thing. I think the storyline is interesting. I think it's watchable, even if you're not a Bucs fan. That's all I'm saying to somebody who maybe didn't tune in and you're just starving for some football-related content. I think you'll like the show regardless, and you don't have to have my same interest. You don't have to like Jameis. You don't have to like the Bucs. You don't have to care anything about the NFL. I think the show is just compelling because of those storylines. And I do think, as interest in this community, and as something that I've talked about a lot for a couple of years now, I have wondered how long it would take for the narrative to shift and what kinds of things would have to happen for it to happen for him, meaning Jameis. And I think it's a peek behind the curtains like this. I think you see the things that people who've embraced him and have not bought into some of the things that have been said about him outside of the market, or people who bought in to the co-op story that the New York Times wrote, in which they, anyhow, I'm not going to go down that path again, but this turned out to be, to me, a good look at the good and the bad, what minimal bad there was, or a kid still growing and learning. I think, moreover, because we're interested in quarterbacks, coaches, you're talking about offensive minds and their quarterbacks and how they get along and how they interact. We do this every year with Jimbo Fisher here locally. Jimbo Fisher is an offensive-minded coach, right? He's the quarterback's coach. He's a former quarterback himself. He's the primary play caller. So when we look at that dynamic, we usually view it through that prism. So we look at quarterbacks at Florida State, how they get along with Jimbo Fisher running that offense. Well, given that Dirk Cutter is that too, right, is that offensive-minded coach, I find that relationship interesting. Just as I would find if we went to a team that dominates with defense and dominates with a dominant defensive player that's a perennial Pro Bowler or an up-and-coming superstar, if they had a defensive-minded head coach and he was the main focus of how the defense ran and they had that relationship on display, I like that stuff. I like to see how honest they can be with one another. I like to hear what kinds of conversations they have behind closed doors, because it's rare that you get that. What you usually get are players and coaches meetings, and you see that sort of things, or segment meetings. But to watch the most important player on a football team and the head coach have regular dialogue away from the team and have an honest assessment about what they need or what they want, and to be able to have a give and take, such as what is going too far, what is trying too hard, what is pushing the envelope, and what I need you to do in terms of dialing it back. Jimbo Fisher has often said that I would much rather say, whoa, than giddy up. And that's true, I think, of all of the good young quarterbacks that have come up. They throw too many interceptions. Almost all of them do. But they also make plays that the guy who's too afraid to throw the ball down the field and challenge a defense and make a defense cover the entirety of a field, or to trust their arm in a tight window or anticipatory throws, those kinds of things, they make plays that other guys don't. And more often than not, teams get very nervous when they draft a guy. And there's one player specifically that came from Florida State that fits this category, and still others around the league that are too fond of being safe and checking down, that they miss the opportunity, because everybody can play in the NFL. If you've got 3 windows of opportunity to get the ball down the field, to make big plays and change the scoreboard in a game, and you take none of them for fear of turning the football over, I've got no use for you. If you take all of them and turn it over twice, we've got a problem. So finding that balance between, hey, you know what, gunslinger, Brett Favre, go out there, chuck it around. I don't want to put a harness on you. You're going to be making plays, and, oh, you just lost me the game, and we've got better players than they do, but we turned it over 4 times. That's tough to do.
Well, yeah, I think it depends on the complementary football, too, that each team, they have weaknesses and strengths, and this is what Jimbo was talking about.
Sure.
If
playing to your strengths, playing to your defense.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a team like Indianapolis when Andrew Luck first started. It's better that he throws 5 touchdowns and 3 picks than 2 touchdowns and no picks. He's got to go out and win that thing. You got to go out and score points. I think what Dirk is talking about is not just about the offensive talent on this team.
Well, he's saying they're getting a lot better on defense.
They're getting better across the board.
Live to fight another day.
Exactly.
But
you've got a world-class punter, too, and I know that sounds like goofy, but you've got a world-class punter.
Yeah,
the NFL is about field position, so let's do what we need to do. If you can give a guy a chance to go make a play, then you do that, but in a low-risk way.
But you don't want to put, again, handcuffs on a guy who can really change the game with his anticipation, his arm strength, and his ability to make big plays, kind of even those plays outside the pocket that we noted a year ago. I always love this conversation. It's to a larger point. It's the same conversation you have about other quarterbacks and their styles. It's not just what we're talking about with Jameis Winston. If you choose to draft a guy, this is part of the larger conversation that they're currently having with Colin Kaepernick. All right, so in addition to all of the off-the-field stuff that is being debated and serves as a hot-button topic, the other problem, if you're in the camp of Colin Kaepernick and you want to see him get an opportunity and you think he's being blackballed, understand this, that while that may be true, it is also true that his style is better suited, and we know this with him, outside the pocket. So if you take him, you have to change your offense. You have to, if you don't already have a system set up that way. So that limits the number of teams that are even going to think about bringing a guy like that in. Then you throw in the controversy too. I love when, so this is true of Cam Newton, right? Made so many plays with his legs, has a shoulder issue now. His MVP season, the thing that he combined was something he hadn't shown before, which was that same ability to continue to make plays with his legs in a way that no quarterback in the history of the game has ever made, but then accurate throws from the pocket that previous seasons he didn't consistently show, and it drove them mad. So their offense became somewhat of a hybrid, and they got him out of the pocket. The throwing point moved, right? They decided to incorporate that element that he did so well into their offense. Most teams do not do that. They do not have a system in place to do that. They don't like to do that. They want to throw and win games from the pocket almost exclusively.
Yeah, but I think what's interesting, if you just go by that discussion, and again, there's more clout to that discussion when it's the head coach. You can feel the clout. Like if Jameis is talking to a quarterback's coach, that's great, but it doesn't have the clout of head coach and top player. I found it interesting that he compared Jameis to Aaron Rodgers. He said, your game is more like Aaron Rodgers.
And not Tom Brady, yeah.
What that tells me, though, if I'm a Bucs fan and I'm looking to, how does that impact the offense? Well, they want to move the pocket then. They want to roll him out. It's not just about winning in the pocket. It's about they're going to move him. They're going to roll him out. They're going to use play actions, boots, you name it.
Right.
To get him off that point.
Well, because that statistic a year ago compared favorably with, and at times better than, Aaron Rodgers. That was the number one stat that if you were going to argue for Jameis, that was the stat you'd use.
I think the fascinating thing is let's flash forward 10 or 20 years and say that Winston has a long career, debatable about
what kind of career it is,
whatever. But I find it interesting that the personality that he dealt with here at Florida State is so different than the personality that he's dealing with down in Tampa, yet it's the same idea. The head coach is a quarterback's guru, is an offensive mind, but their delivery, their communication process is so wildly different. Cutter is a thinker. He's an analyst. He looks at numbers. And
he's also timid.
He's timid, right. Jimbo
and
is a
not
yeller
timid,
and a screamer.
And not timid.
Correct.
Well, and timid in play calling as well. And what that's going to be fascinating as a fan. Now, this is the part where the fan comes in for me. I don't like that at times Cutter dials things way back and did last year play not to lose at times. We talked about this. Some of the play calling late in games that were close. Spoke to a man who was a little nervous in that situation, and I will give Jimbo a lot of credit. He learned from the mistakes he made against NC State. He doesn't do that anymore. He goes and wins the game. The Miami game is a good example, and there have been some other moments that we cited where he goes and wins the game.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to say, though, it's important to note that he was timid at one point, and that was a criticism of Jimbo Fisher.
But I was saying he learned from that. Now, he's still timid on fourth down, and he needs to go for more fourth downs. I'm talking about Jimbo Fisher. But Dirk Cutter in game will dial things back. I think that's an NFL culture. I think that is this idea, certainly, that field position and turnovers are the deciding factor in the NFL, and so few people can go out and actually win a game. When we're judging quarterbacks, to me, it's not statistics, although everybody will use them rightfully when they're making an argument for their guy or against another guy. It's how many guys in the league go and win games, can actually go and win games, as opposed to avoid losing them and waiting for other teams to make mistakes. Too many teams in the league, and we know this, and if you're a fan of one of these teams, you certainly know it, because I've been a fan of a team like that almost all my life in Tampa Bay. When you don't have that guy that you trust can go win a game and go make plays in the fourth quarter of a tie football game or a one-possession game, you watch the game differently. You hope they call the game differently, and it's primarily centered around don't make a mistake here. Let's just punt back and forth until one of them drops the ball or one of our defensive players makes a play, but let's not do anything out of our comfort zone here. That's usually code for I don't trust this guy under center to consistently go win games and make plays. I'd rather see the other team lose it, because that's how I watch most of these teams lose football games week to week or win football games week to week. I think that's ingrained in most coaches' minds, because so infrequently do you have a franchise quarterback that can go win games. And when you have one, you've got to also step outside your comfort zone and say, well, I do have a guy that can go make plays. He's going to throw an untimely pick if I let the reins go and say, go make some plays here, but he's going to win me some games that we wouldn't otherwise win too, and you've got to figure out how to deal with that. That's hard to do too, especially as the pieces around you improve.
Yeah, I agree. One other thing I thought last night too, and I saw the breakout interview last week when it actually took place. If I can feel bad for somebody who makes $5 to $7 million a year, Chucky's lonely, man. Isn't he so lonely?
Awful.
Like, nobody really wants to talk to that guy.
No, that hurt.
That was, yeah.
Well, even Cutter
was like, man.
The guy misses football.
Yeah, and they all start laughing. I'm like,
oh, man, when they laugh at him when he walked out of the room, I was like, my man, get back in coaching.
Well, yeah, the line last week that was in the breakout that they used on HBO was, I still make my own playbooks. I just don't have a playbook to give anybody. Well, damn.
Jeez,
no,
dude.
You're making $5 to $7 million a year.
As an analyst, that's great.
But he's
he longs to hand that playbook to somebody.
He does.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
But you know what? September the 10th, it's on. Tampa Bay at Miami.
Not a chance. You know what that first loss feels like every year because you've never gone undefeated.
Houston Oilers.
All right, let's go. Dry-aged ribeye steaks. What do you say?
I'm in. Let's bet.
It's on.
Is Bumpa's going to be open yet?
Shh, Jeff. They don't know about that one yet.
It's coming soon. All right, Bucks.
Let's go fish.
Good times. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer. 574-4100. And presented by TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, Georgia. And Franklin Spring Creek Ford.
The big game is almost here, but you can't afford to go because ticket prices are through the roof. Don't worry, we got your back. Anytix.com offers you the lowest price tickets, guaranteed. Anytix.com doesn't mark up tickets. Anytix.com has zero. That's right, no buyer, seller, or service fees. For a small monthly fee of $9.99, you get access to all their wholesale tickets. Go to Anytix.com today. That's Anytix, Tixx. Enter the coupon code ESPNTally and get 20% off your subscription. Anytix.com, changing the way you buy tickets.
The Ford Summer Sales Event is in full swing.
All right, man. 7 ballparks in 7 days. Here we go.
I've got my maps.
You don't need them. Huh? I got a nav system. See, you can even pinch to zoom. Look at.
And with available Sync 3 and voice-activated navigation, Ford Fusion has the tech to get you there and back.
Okay, you're holding that map upside down, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I thought Indiana looked strange.
Take on summer right with Ford, America's best-selling brand, during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Get 0% financing for 72 months on select Fusion, Escape, Edge, and Explorer models. Plus, get $1,000 on top of your trade-in. Offer ends August 22nd. Best selling based on current year 2016 sales. Don't drive while distracted. Use voice-operated systems when possible. Don't use handheld devices while driving. Not all buyers qualify for Ford credit financing. 72 months at $1,389 per month per $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. Trade Assist Cash requires trade-in of 95 or newer vehicle or lease terminated 30 days prior to or 90 days after new retail delivery. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for complete details. Take delivery from dealer stock by August 22nd, 2017.
Wonder what the outrageously energizing experience of Mountain Dew Kickstart is like? Well, it's like a combo of 3 awesome things. Dew, juice, and caffeine, rebooting your entire personal operating system.
Mountain Dew Kickstart is in position for consumption. All systems cleared for launch. Initiate launch sequence. T-3, 2, 1, mark. Release the Mountain Dew Kickstart. Mountain Dew Kickstart released. Experiencing a charge of Mountain Dew Kickstart now.
Mountain Dew Kickstart operation successful.
You are now off the couch and out exploring the world.
Roger that.
Get charged up for what's coming next anytime, anywhere with Mountain Dew Kickstart. Available in 10 energizing flavors like mango lime, raspberry citrus, midnight grape, and orange citrus. Mountain Dew Kickstart. Fuel with flavor.
RCD Shell knows how to keep you cool and refreshed. All 20-ounce Pepsi and Mountain Dew products are 2 for $2.22. That's right, 2 for $2.22. And 28-ounce Gatorade is buy one, get one free. It's more fun with Pepsi and Dew, so bring on the bubbles with these cool prices at RCD Shell.
If you haven't stopped into Tallahassee's favorite hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill on North Monroe Street, you're missing out.
Hey, it's me, Courtney. Hey, it's me, Marissa.
Last but not least, I'm Kim, and we're the girls from the Fourth Quarter.
Okay, girls, there are lots of great nights to stop in at the Fourth Quarter, including Monday, where it's happy hour all day, including 2-for-1 Wells. There's Tuesday night trivia with Professor Jimmy, where you can win money. What other night should we stop by the Fourth Quarter?
It's Kim again. Join me Saturday and Sunday mornings for Bubbles and Brunch from 7 to 2. $18.99, all you can drink mimosas and Bloody Marys, and it includes breakfast.
Hey, Riss here. Come join me for lunch. We have over 20 lunch specials for just $7.50, and that includes a drink.
I'm Courtney. Visit me on Monday nights when we have 2-for-1 Wells, calls, and domestic drafts all night.
Don't miss out on the girls of the Fourth Quarter. Pick your favorite night and stop in. Say hi to the girls at 2033 North Monroe Street, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill, Tallahassee's favorite hangout.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Show 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. Yeah, I think that the series will be a lot of fun for a lot of reasons, but that's one of them. Up-and-coming team, young quarterback, play caller, interaction, finding balance. Cutter was defensive today.
Oh, well, yeah, he'll do that.
He's frequently that. He needs to stop. You're a head coach, man.
Maybe he needs to see a division championship or something, then he'll calm down. It did wonders for Jimbo.
It did. It did. Yeah, certainly having something to fall back on and be able to tell people, obviously I've done it this way. This is where we've moved to. And
I know I'm never this guy, but I was last night. Gerald McCoy's children are adorable.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Those two kids are the most adorable kids. They were the stars of the episode. I'm never that guy who's like, what about the family aspect?
The little boy hitting his chest is cracking me up.
The girl's so happy to run off to bed with all her little stuffed animals. That was fantastic.
Yeah, it was good. For Florida State, by the way, we were just talking about running backs. That seems to be what's on everybody's mind right now is coming away from that open practice and then the bits and pieces that you get from the opening periods. Everybody is noting just how good this backfield is. And if I were going to describe for people the elements of this team that we're most excited about, I actually do start, just like everybody else it seems right now, with the running backs because – for all of the talk about how good this defense should be, there is the specter of, well, Charles Kelly's still the defensive coordinator, and I don't know that I trust him. I mean, I'm just talking about groupthink right now and the way that that's viewed, and for good reason, frankly. And for as good as we think maybe DeAndre Francois will emerge to be as he continues to grow, there are question marks about his game, accuracy being one of them, consistency. But with the running backs, there's, you're talking about guys coming in ready to play. There's experience, there's talent, there's depth, and there are guys that you think will go a long way in helping out the maturation of, say, this offensive line. Usually it's the other way around, of course, but I think you got guys in this backfield that might be able to carry on a tradition that Dalvin Cook certainly had to embrace and accept and engage, and that is make guys miss early and make plays.
Well, there was a quote that Warchant put out today that I thought was pretty telling. Jacques Patrick is wired a bit differently. He's a thinker. You could see that last year, when it was on a season with. He's a deep in thought type of person. It's not just about ball. He's got perspective. And here's a quote attributed to Jacques. He's talking about Cam Akers. The arrogance built through recruiting can push you a step back no matter who you are. And the humility he came in with, willing to learn, always asking questions. He always wants to be around me, trying to soak up information. That's a young guy I can respect. That's great. A segment mate who you're battling with for the lion's share of the carries, and all the reports out of camp are that Akers is every bit the physical specimen necessary to play as a freshman in college football at this level. But then you have a teammate saying he's a sponge. He wants to learn. He wants to be great.
And that he enjoys, quote, being around those guys. There are so many different personalities. It's fun to be in the same room. Yeah, running backs, more than most positions, I always find this to be true, and I think it's true of the modern running back without question. And we're talking a little bit about that with the Devonta Freeman being able to share carries, and most backs all do. I mean, there are only a handful of truly feature backs that get 25 to 30 carries a game anymore. just because the abuse and the styles of offenses have shifted, et cetera. The point would be this. Most modern running backs get that they're just prolonging their career and their chance to make money if they split carries. And it used to be a point of jealousy and frustration and competition and not a good form. Just sort of a, if I don't win this job, I'll transfer type thing. And you're just not seeing that anymore. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to keep Zaquandre White and Sheffield and Laybourne and Akers and Patrick and Rasul. I mean, you just got oodles of talent there. It seems to me one of them will be, at least to some degree, the odd man out at some point and decide to leave. But in the interim, pushing each other, embracing each other's styles and strengths, and learning from one another is a hell of a way to watch a backfield grow, especially when it's littered with the kind of talent that Florida State has. That's the segment group that is probably the most fun to watch anyhow.
Well, yeah, go back to the quarterback battle before the 2013 season. I'm not saying that anybody became Jameis Winston except for Jameis, but you have Trickett, who ends up going to West Virginia and starting, winning college football games at a big university after competing here and not being enough to compete with Jameis.
Right.
And then Coker goes and wins a national title with Alabama, makes a few plays in that game, and certainly, was more than just a pure game manager for Alabama. He was a decent to, above average quarterback. And then you have Jameis. But you look back on those moments. You look back on the day that we were in the IPF, and there they all are throwing, the two, Coker and Winston with Sean McGuire, and back the spring prior with Clint Trickett. It's pretty cool to say at one point all of these players who won big games for big-time college football universities and programs, they were competing for Jimbo Fisher under one roof. Will we be saying that about the running back position and what we have going on right now in fall 2017 camp?
Well, and I also think, by the way, from game to game, week to week, a different guy every week, or maybe not every week, you eventually like to fall back on a rock, somebody you can trust that you know. But I do think different game plans, different styles against different defenses, really, with this team, you can play that. I mean, I'm not so sure Jacques Patrick's the guy you line up and try to beat Alabama with. And if you want to gauge it by something, let's gauge it by Leonard Fournette, who had virtually no success against Alabama. Big guy that's got to get moving. Not slow, certainly not for his size, but not terribly elusive in the backfield when there's early penetration from the defensive line. And that's a tough thing for all running backs, of course. If you change the line of scrimmage, it's tough for guys to make plays, but it's especially tough for 235-pounders. So you think to yourself, if we're having success with him in that game, it means the offensive line is playing a hell of a lot better than we thought they were capable of against Alabama. So therefore, you're looking more at the fleet of foot guys that can make you miss in a phone booth in that football game. And yet the problem with that is that would mean you're turning to some players you haven't had to trust in a game like this. And I'm talking about Cam Akers. You'd be turning to a freshman there. Amir Rasul played some last year, but not a lot, and obviously he's coming off of injury, so you'd be asking him to take on a greater responsibility, which I suspect they're actually going to do. You know how high I am on Rasul. So, or you're talking about one of the freshmen. So, yeah, Patrick's the guy with all the experience that you think logically they would go to against a team like Alabama because of that, but I don't think stylistically he fits.
Well, agreed in theory as to what you're going to do if the game plan is constant throughout. But as Jimbo has shown in the past, it can be like a pitcher with a great repertoire. Could be the first time through the lineup you want to attack him this way, and then the second time through the lineup you want to attack him a different way. I think he's going to play the hot hand early. Outside, once he gets past his game plan, the first 15 plays, whatever it is, he's going to see how the offensive line is winning. He's going to put the best player out there in the right circumstance. But from a short yardage standpoint, I'd rather have Patrick back there if he gets hit a yard behind the line of scrimmage and trust him to move the pile forward. It's just I think the hardest part of losing Dalvin is what you're talking about. If there's penetration in the backfield, somebody's got to make a move and then turn it into a positive play. That's where Dalvin was spectacular, and it's going to hurt that we don't have him.
Well, and the biggest part of that isn't the play that he makes in the backfield and turns into a first down or turns into an 8-yard gain. It's the play that he makes somebody miss in the backfield and takes a 3-yard loss into a 2-yard gain. It's 2nd and 8 instead of 2nd and 15. And, that he did that so often. It's also something that, frequently you saw from Devonta Freeman, who just got paid. He could get that forward lean when you had to have it to get back to a spot or to get the yard you had to have for the first down or to fit through a tiny crevice in the offensive line, he had that ability.
It'll be exciting to see which of those new backs that we haven't seen on the field
Right.
on a given Saturday has that trait, because that's a really, really important trait.
All of them, Tom. All of them will have that trait, sir. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
800-515-6302. 800-515-6302. 800-515-6302. That's 800-515-6302.
Back to school is in season. Fall trends are bold, and this one big sale is better than gold. It's the Goodies One Big Sale, and all you need is one Golden Star coupon to get 50% off almost everything store-wide. Get your coupon in today's deals or by downloading our app. This special One Big Sale goes all day Friday through Sunday, August 11th to the 13th. So get your golden coupon today and get ready to stock up with big savings on back to school. Goodies. What will new bring out in you? Goodies is part of our Sage family. Offer exclusions apply.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. Ace has grown to 5,000 stores and counting. That's twice as many helpful locations as those big warehouse stores combined. But we're not just about numbers. We're about helping neighbors, because each one of our stores is part of your community. To celebrate, join us for the 5,000 store sale. We have daily offers and incredible savings throughout the store for 4 days only. Hurry in! The 5,000 store sale ends Monday, only at your neighborhood Ace. Offers valid at participating stores Friday through Monday only. See store for details.
Brent, this month's topic is classic song lyrics. You ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Here's a lyric. American history, practical math. You study them hard and hoping to pass.
It's from School Days by the great Chuck Berry. He wrote and recorded so many great hits.
You mean like TNT Supercenter sells and services so many top golf cart brands with an enormous selection all under one roof?
TNT Supercenter customers can compare the top golf cart brands side by side. Club Car, Yamaha, Star EV, and the ultimate hunting vehicle to beat. TNT Supercenter has the largest selection of carts in the area. Pre-owned carts starting at just $19.99. New carts with a 4-year warranty starting at just $49.99. And at TNT, our service center and service technicians are trained, certified, and authorized for every brand we sell.
And there's plenty of parts and accessories too, right?
Our parts inventory is huge, and we'll dress up your existing cart with a full line of Mad Jack's premium accessory products like seat kits, light kits, lift kits, and now for a limited time, save 20% on all Mad Jack's parts and accessories.
TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to Dairy Queen in Thomasville, and online at TNTSupercenter.com.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. The Atlanta Falcons are investing in their future, and that means investing in former Seminole Devonta Freeman. The two-time Pro Bowl running back agrees to a 5-year contract extension, $41.25 million. It includes a $15 million signing bonus, and $22 million of this is guaranteed. Well, if you haven't heard it yet, the New England Patriots are also investing in their future, but in a little different way. The Patriots are now the first NFL team to have their own airplanes. They're both 767 Boeings, which they will have their logo painted on and use for road games. Tiger Woods is back in the news today. He pleads not guilty to driving under the influence, but has agreed to enter a diversion program that could see that charge drop later this year. And baseball umpire Joe West has been suspended 3 games for negative comments towards the Rangers' Adrian Beltre.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. So good to be with you. Thanks so much for tuning to it. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We are online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming. That is free always. You don't have to miss anything, but hey, sometimes you do. And when that happens, check us out at your own convenience, because we'll post the show upon the conclusion, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault, so you got access to all that goodness at your leisure. Email the program if you'd like. It's jcs at 979espnradio.com. You can find me on Twitter at jcameronshow, WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. That's a really good thing. And we're on YouTube, ESPN Tallahassee. Thanks for watching. Appreciate that. You know, I was reading today. This is an interesting quote. You'll like this quote, Tom. This will make you smile. I wanted to see how the University of Miami was doing. You know, they're still figuring out who their quarterback is. The quarterback competition, they're not real sure what they got there. Going into the season, a little uncertain at the quarterback position.
The U is building.
Yeah. So Coach Rick is really being careful when it comes to revealing who maybe has the lead there. You know, they're not sure who's got it. It could be one of the freshmen. You never know. But what he's talking about, he was talking about his players, and he said this quote about one of the kids. Evan is a machine in the way that he operates, and it goes on to talk about the sheriff's kid and says his ball handling is pristine. Well, I didn't know that's what we were doing here. Oh! As soon as I read that, I thought, my goodness, might the center be pleased? Ball's free! So, Miami's got that going for him at quarterback. One of them handles balls pristinely.
That's not a surprise if you saw the photo shoot from a couple years back.
Wasn't going to go there. Was just going to keep on keeping on. But you just put the image in my head. Forever troubling,
there
sir.
It is. Embrace it.
Forever troubling.
It's like
to this day.
There's a negative inside your brain.
You know, imagine we do it every year. Every year we point to the preseason polls, Tom. The
look at those polls.
Coaches poll. We do so whenever AP releases theirs.
The coaches poll.
That's right. We do all of that, and every year during the talking points, building towards college football, there's the moment where somebody utters it. Well, I really think Miami's going to be good this year. And I was trying to think, do I typically say in my head, well, they're due. It's probably true. At some point, they got to be good again. I mean, it's been going on a decade. They got to be good at some point again. And was I doing it yet again this year, as I have in previous seasons, assuming that eventually that will be true, or do I really think they're going to be good? And then reading that story this morning about them trying to figure out what they're going to do at quarterback and having a center transfer who was a senior and played 9 games a year ago, I thought, man, what if they just aren't any good again? Just something to ponder. Because that's exactly what's happened year in and year out for a very long time now.
Should I play the montage that we used last year? Because it had clips from different seasons and different thought processes.
It is a fun clip, and our listeners certainly enjoy it, and it does kind of illustrate the point I'm making here where while it does seem safe to assume at some point with the myriad of coaches that have gone through there and recruiting classes that were well thought of and the region of the country that they're in, or in this case the region of this state that they're in, that it would hold true, but it just hasn't. If you want that friendly reminder, Tom, you can go ahead and play it. I don't mind it. Does certainly make me smile.
I'd have to pull it up, but I mean that thing is about 5 minutes long because
maybe at some point in the program today we'll get
goes
to it.
Through all of the years.
It does take an awful long time to get there.
I think you're okay with me playing it, but then we get to minute 2, you go, oh, I forgot. Yeah, this is just okay. I mean, we have to go through about a decade, nearly. I mean, there's a Platinum Bohica at stake, but we're almost there to the Platinum Bohica, and that's a lot to rehash.
There are many that suspect this would be a season in which Florida State and Miami will play not once but twice, that Miami is the class of the Coastal, and that if Mr. Perry emerges as the quarterback there, there's real forward momentum for him and for them, and certainly they have a very nice defense, and I will agree to that. They also have seen an uptick in the man patrolling the sideline in Mark Richt, while not a champion, if you will. A guy that has shown the ability to get teams to play competently, consistently. So, maybe it does happen. Maybe this is the year that it happens. And if it does, they will certainly emerge as the team that wins the Coastal and get the opportunity to lose twice to Florida State.
Okay, I've whittled it down to 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Do you want to pull that trigger right now?
No, we'll hold on to it. We'll save it. I had no plans of doing that. It wasn't one of the things that I necessarily wanted to go to today. It was just a thought. My dad and I were talking about this last night. We're talking about the season at hand. I think just about now everybody is. And you go through the various scenarios, such as, well, would I rather this than this, or could I handle this? For example, I think most of us, and let me check in on this talking point. This has been fodder of the entire offseason. Ratcheted up, of course, here on the 9th of August as we move ever closer to that first game against Alabama. Would you rather lose to Alabama, obviously with the knowledge that if you go on to have the kind of season you're capable of, you could get a rematch against them and might be a much better team by the time you face them a second time than you are the first game of the year? Or would you rather would you rather win that game because of what you think it can do for you from a prestige standpoint, the pride you'd feel in knocking off a program that has been consistently great? And there's no ignoring that. There's no getting around the fact that Alabama, year in and year out, has been the best program in college football, most consistent, deepest, most talented, and obviously supported to some degree by the lunatics there at Alabama that hold football above all else. And that's a cheap shot. And I'll take my cheap shots where I can get them.
Sometimes cheap shots can also be factual in nature.
Could be. But nonetheless, would you rather that win and then say a loss to either Florida or Miami? Would you take, if I told you, I'm not telling you which of the teams knock off Florida State.
So you can't even guarantee me one or the other.
No, I guess, would you take, if I gave you a scenario by which we go out and beat Alabama and go on to have a season in which they only lose one game, but that one game has to be to either Miami or Florida, would you take that? Or would you say, no way, no how, much rather lose to Alabama? It's obvious, Cameron, what are you talking about? Alabama's not a rival. There's no shame in losing to Alabama. You could lose that game, get the rematch. You want to keep the Platinum Bohica at play. You want to continue to hold down your rival. You want Jimbo to remain undefeated against Miami as he currently is.
Are you guaranteeing me that we go 11-1 the other way? So,
yes, I'm guaranteeing you we go 11-1. There is no other loss save for the one to either Miami or Florida.
Oh, no. But again, just for redundancy, the other way. So let's say I said, no, I want the loss to Alabama instead. You're guaranteeing me that they run the table from there.
Yeah, from there. Yeah, I'm guaranteeing you. So you'll take that all day long, right?
Yes.
I figured. There are just some people that hold this game in such high regard because of the hype around it, because of what Alabama represents, because of the build-up to it, which is going to be, I mean, it's already started, on a daily basis now. Our offices where we are, we have ESPN up in the lobby. And if you come in and out of the studio, we're doing work, we're talking, whatever. It seems like these days, maybe every other day, maybe 2 out of 3, I'm watching there's a sidebar on one of the afternoon shows that are annoying as hell, solely about Florida State, Alabama. We just got sent a request from ESPN Corporate for more interaction, at least in our build-up to that game and our preview of it and Florida State's role in it and what we're expected to do. You sense this growing more on an hourly basis almost. And I think by the time it gets here, it'll feel like the Super Bowl. It'll feel like what it would mean for us to win it will feel greater than the actual impact. It feels better to get a game like that and to put that feather in your cap and what it could mean in recruiting, et cetera. As opposed to the reality of the situation is it's a non-conference game that at the end of the day, you could even lose this game badly, and it might not keep you from your ultimate goal, which is, of course, to win the conference, play in the college football playoff, and make a run at a national title.
Oh, no, it feels like an inverted season. It feels like you're playing a bowl game, an exhibition bowl game, and then you have your home opener, and then you hit the start button on the season.
I think, too, Tom, that I'm growing to dislike the idea of these games being first. The Oklahoma State game, Ole Miss last year. I'm starting to like the idea of literally just easing into the season. And that a lot of times, especially because here's why. These games aren't being played here. They're not being played in Tallahassee. Or even the team, in this case Alabama, their home stadium. They're neutral site games, and I'm not about it. I don't like it, and it's bothering me more and more. I like a big-time matchup. It's sexier than playing Louisiana Monroe to start the year. But if you're not going to play a home game and you're not going to play on somebody else's campus that I've not been to, that it's an opportunity to see and take part in their traditions and take a look at how they do things, then I don't like it.
I think the only way, and you sound like Bryce at a younger age.
I do, but I just – and listen, I get I'm not going to be a sourpuss from this point forward. It's just as this builds – I feel like it's almost an odd distraction. I don't know if I'm explaining this the right way. I don't want people to get the wrong idea. Look, I get it, man. This is really good for a talk show host who's in a college town covering a team that is a perennial top 10 program. I get that. And on the one hand, man, the idea of seeing these two uniforms on the field at the same time, first time since we were over in Jacksonville against them, which was also not a game here, I long for more of the games where you travel to these unique places like we did against Nebraska, like we did against Michigan. I like that.
The only way you're going to get that is if you sign a home and home with a school like Alabama.
But you allow Chick-fil-A or some other corporate sponsor to kind of have their run of it.
They're the ones that broker the deal, and then the game. But you can't do that because those bowl committees are tied to cities, and they have all kinds of political handshakes going back and forth. So you'd have to find an outside sponsor. It couldn't be the Chick-fil-A kickoff game in Tallahassee and Tuscaloosa. They're already tied to Atlanta because of the Peach Bowl. So you'd have to find somebody else that could help broker that deal. But the money is such that you can do this one time. You don't have to eat up 2 years of your schedule. I mean, because think about it. If we did a home and home that started this year, the next year we have Notre Dame on the schedule too with Florida, it's just not feasible. So this is the only way you can get it done. We'd have to do a one-off, either here or there. If you're thinking there wouldn't be a home and home. You'd have to pay it off 4 years down the line when we traveled to Tuscaloosa or they came here.
Clemson and Auburn do it?
They do. They do.
You can do it.
For Clemson, at this current juncture, the South Carolina rivalry isn't,
Well, it's exactly like the Florida State rivalry where us dominating Florida.
In terms of wins and losses, yes.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying you do it consistently. I'm not saying you do it all the time. Coaches would never agree to that, and I don't want to do it either. But I like every once in a great while go, hey, we did it with Oklahoma. It was fantastic, and we didn't win either one of those games. In terms of a build-up to a mega game, that's all I'm saying. There's a very clinical way that we're kind of going about the build-up to this game. Like, we understand if you're just a fan, an alumnus, a lover of great college football and big-time matchups, you eat this stuff up and can't wait. It's a chance to gather with all your friends, travel up there, party, have a great time, go to the game. Oh, my God, I'm watching Florida State and Alabama. And we're a part of that, too. I'm not trying to be snooty here, but there's this other aspect of what we have to do from a performance standpoint in a pregame show and the technical aspects that you're dealing with and trying to get our equipment up there and where we're broadcasting from and, frankly, how you monetize that, all that stuff, right? That doesn't allow you to deal with the fun. So it becomes a major distraction, and if your only reward is you get to go back to Atlanta, which you've all been to a million times, I'd rather that game be played in Tuscaloosa.
Well, we're not the only ones saying that. You know, Alabama has their ticket punched the first weekend of December every year to Atlanta. They're going to be in Atlanta this December until further notice, until such time as there's a kick six. You know, so yes, they play in those kickoff games in Atlanta or Dallas all the time too. I hear you. The money is so great compared to what the revenue would be.
The reasons for it are obvious. You're right. The reasons for why we're doing this.
You want laser tag for the kids? These are the kinds of things
I don't want laser tag for the kids. I want college football to be collegial. I want it to remain separate from professional football as much as it still can, even though it's already crossed many of those lines long ago. But in other ways, you can still hold on to that, and one of the ways is to have fan bases and teams play on each other's campuses as opposed to a corporate-sponsored outing at a random place like Atlanta or Dallas.
If they told you, and this is what the athletic directors would tell you, and you could call BS, but let's just say that it was true. If they told you the only way that you could play Alabama in the regular season in the next 10 years was to do one of these type games, and the alternative was to host another.
Or if you played them in the playoffs.
Right.
Which my money would be on that you would at some point.
Right. I hear you. But in terms of, the playoffs aren't played in Tuscaloosa or Tallahassee either.
No, no,
so
I know.
The idea being that if you want to play them at all, guaranteed in the regular season, you got to do it this way. Otherwise, you got to schedule a game and pay a team $500,000 or $1 million to come play you. Which would you rather have? Would you rather have another week of preparation, or would you rather have this game at a neutral site?
Well, I'm about winning national championships, not about sexy week 1, week 2 matchups. I'm about trying to do what's best to win a national title, and therefore I would probably just discard this game and say whatever, because I think the schedule is at a place now, and so is the conference, to where you'd be all right.
To that end, isn't it fair to say that when we signed this deal with Alabama, we weren't so sure about what the ACC would look like top to bottom?
Yeah, but we always play Florida at a conference, and we are going to play at least. We did know Clemson would be good, and we did figure there'd be one other very good football team mixed in there. And I don't know. Yeah, I think we have enough, man.
You hate this game.
I'm finding that as we get closer to it, it doesn't have the same appeal as it did to me when it was announced. And I think it's just because, again, it doesn't feel very collegial. And maybe I'm just being a sap. Maybe that is long since past. I need to get past all of that and go enjoy this. I just would really, really much rather this game be played in Alabama. And then next year have them come here. That would be fantastic.
Still, you get in that building and there's 70,000 people split in half.
I will be there, buddy, and I am anxious to see how we play. I think it's, to me, it's almost a fact-finding mission. I'm being very, very, again, the analysis part of this is what I'm actually more interested in. Because let's hold on to that. Let's get to that, because I'll tell you something else. Maybe I feel this way, and I'm just confessing this now since we're just kind of having an open-air conversation. I feel less and less confident about our chances.
This is what it's about. This is everything.
Well, it's not everything. It's not everything.
It's the bulk of the reason.
Well,
if you thought we were going to beat them by 10-17, you'd say, all right.
I'll play anybody anywhere if I think I'm going to beat you by 17 points. But that's not really all of it. We don't get the benefit of the things that are unique to college football by going to Atlanta to lose this game. Just go lose it in Tuscaloosa and have an experience. That's very collegial.
Atlanta's got collegial experiences.
Chef Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Presented by TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, Georgia, and Franklin Spring Creek Ford.
The Ford Summer Sales Event is in full swing.
All right, man. 7 ballparks in 7 days. Here we go.
I've got my maps.
You don't need them. Huh? I got a nav system. See, you could even pinch to zoom. Look at.
And with available Sync 3 and voice-activated navigation, Ford Fusion has the tech to get you there and back.
Okay, you're holding that map upside down, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I thought Indiana looked strange.
Take on summer right with Ford, America's best-selling brand, during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Get 0% financing for 72 months on select Fusion, Escape, Edge, and Explorer models. Plus, get $1,000 on top of your trade-in. Offer ends August 22nd. Best selling based on current year 2016 sales. Don't drive while distracted. Use voice-operated systems when possible. Don't use handheld devices while driving. Not all buyers qualify for Ford credit financing. 72 months at $1,389 per month per $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. Trade Assist Cash requires trade-in of 95 or newer vehicle or lease terminated 30 days prior to or 90 days after new retail delivery. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for complete details. Take delivery from dealer stock by August 22nd, 2017.
Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Our lifetime warranty is a game changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan's service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
The big game is almost here, but you can't afford to go because ticket prices are through the roof. Don't worry, we got your back. Anytix.com offers you the lowest price tickets, guaranteed. Anytix.com doesn't mark up tickets. Anytix.com has zero. That's right, no buyer, seller, or service fees. For a small monthly fee of $9.99, you get access to all their wholesale tickets. Go to Anytix.com today. That's Anytix, Tixx. Enter the coupon code ESPN Tally and get 20% off your subscription. Anytix.com, changing the way you buy tickets.
Attention Pitmasters, the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill in 7th Hill Tap Room are partnering up to host an amateur barbecue cook-off and local craft beer fest Saturday, August the 19th from 2 to 10 p.m. For a $40 entry fee, you can enter any or all 4 barbecue categories. That's Boston butt, chicken, pork ribs, and specialties, with the winner in each category taking home a $100 gift card redeemable at either Corner Pocket or 7th Hill Tap Room. Think you're Tallahassee's Pitmaster Supreme? Enter today. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 7th Hill Tap Room, Amateur Barbecue Cook-Off, August 19th from 2 to 10 p.m.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. You may have just listened into that last promotion as or notice for you to sign up for Pitmasters in 7th Hill Tap Room, Corner Pocket.
Yeah, 7th Hill's turning 1 already.
Hard to imagine. I do want people to know that that's for a great cause, Collegiate Veterans Association. So if you want to expound further, sir.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a $40 entry fee for anybody who wants to enter in this amateur barbecue cook-off. And there are 4 categories, as you heard in the promo.
Mhm.
But the proceeds of the event, because there'll be tickets for the event for people who want to attend it on August the 19th, Saturday, 2 to 10 p.m. in the parking lot. They're going to take it over tailgate style with craft brews and barbecue, the whole 9, music, live music. So the proceeds from the tickets and for the entry fees are going to go to the Collegiate Veterans Association. So it's for a good cause. Enjoy some craft brew, live music, and barbecue.
At Jay Cameron Show, FSU in Tuscaloosa, max tickets for FSU fans, 9 to 10,000 versus 90,000. Bama, no band, isolated in the upper deck. What atmosphere? Well, the atmosphere of another college campus. The atmosphere of a home Alabama game. I like experiencing other people's experience for a week, on a week-to-week basis. I like going to other stadiums. I like seeing the game from their perspective. I like being a rival fan in an opposing team's stadium and sticking out like a sore thumb. I like backing my squad on the road and all that comes with it, but also touring the campus the day of the game and tailgating at different locales. As opposed to a downtown location with no parking and a very corporate feel, which is what's going to happen in Atlanta. Also, I like the favor to be returned, so it's not a one-way street. What I was asking for is a home and home. I like to be able to embrace other fan bases and their teams and their traditions and have them come experience ours.
Well, yeah, the Oklahoma,
a year after we do that.
The Oklahoma-Florida State home and home was widely loved by both universities.
It was awesome.
I mean, obviously we went out there first, and you actually went out there, but we as a football program went out their way first. And the reports of the friendliness of all the Oklahoma fans, because we really don't have much of a fight except for the 60-minute game we're going to play. So, everybody was willing to share what was at their tailgates, offering food, beverage, instructions, little hints about the campus and the traditions.
What happens here is this. We're all passionate about our schools, about the teams we love, and the cities we're from, etc. But in order for all of this to be of any significance and to matter at all, you have to have every other team that participates, fan bases, and universities involved as part of the larger fabric of college football. And so it's like even arch rivalries. I mean, maybe the exception of Miami, which I take shots at on a daily basis because their fan base is unique and unlike any other in a negative way. Most of the, when you get older, and maybe this is the byproduct of just having gone to college football games for 35 years or more, you understand the need for the existence of the other side, right? In order for something to happen, there has to be this other way of doing things. There has to be this other thing. And you want to explore it and see it because you end up recognizing that if you go to enough away games and you go to enough of your own home games, of course, you see the best and the worst in both sides. And you know that element is there. But by and large, one of the things that makes college football great is that most people aren't knuckleheads and they get it. And they get that when they're on the road, okay, you kind of adhere to policy and figure it out. Don't stand out like a sore thumb. Just try to go root your team on. Be proud, do all of those things. But learn about somebody else. Learn about what it's like there. Learn about what they do that makes them unique. You don't have to like it. You don't have to embrace it or enjoy it down the line, but experience it, learn about it, use it, compare and contrast. some of our experiences. The more of those we have, the better we understand our own here on a weekly basis and what makes that unique. And so I like that about college football in the sense that it doesn't happen as much as I'd like, is all I'm saying, because we sell off these home games to make a little bit extra money and go to a place like Jerry's World or a place like Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And while I like the matchups, the cachet of a Florida State-Alabama, or what was cool about Florida State, Oklahoma State, or you name it, in any of these, Michigan, Florida or something, right? That's neat. That's cool. I just much prefer, if I'm part of those fan bases or watching from afar, to experience that matchup in their stadium and them come to ours.
It could be 10 to 12% more dollars for you in your athletic department. I mean, it's a lot of money. It's a lot more money, not just a little bit. And it can change what you can do from a facility standpoint and how you can help your recruiting and the exposure in different markets. I mean, there are real benefits to it. I agree, though, at the same time, two things can be true. It puts extra juice in the stands in Tuscaloosa. It puts extra juice in the stands here in Tallahassee. I mean, there are many who have been around a long time, you included, going to games for decades, that think that FSU Oklahoma here and the confusion down inside the 10-yard line by the student section here at Doak was the loudest moment in Doak Campbell Stadium history. The place was shaking.
Yeah, it was nuts.
It's never felt like that since. And those games can bring those moments when you have two tradition-laden programs playing together, and they're playing at the home venue for each team. Yeah, there's an extra element. Absolutely.
Kurt writes, the Oklahoma fans in 2010 were so friendly, I was caught off guard. I was expecting a UF or UM type reception. Yeah, well, no, they're not an arch rival. Certainly, they've also been doing it for a very, very long time and had more than their fair share of successes and championships and lulls, too, to have lived through. I think fans and alumni and universities and programs grow when they experience both and when you come out the other side, either oodles of success followed by some failure, followed up by more success. It puts into perspective the last time you were good and when you were terribly poor. And you get these things, too, traveling and experiencing and learning from the fans locally. And, John writes, experiencing school bars, fraternities, restaurants, traditions, tailgates is so much better than another trip to Atlanta. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. There's nothing like being on first of all, I love universities. I like going to other college campuses. When I visit other cities, if there's time and I can find a way to get over there, even if I have other things I have to do, I try to visit the local universities. And even places that I don't care about. I don't care anything about Purdue, but I joke about them all the time because for whatever reason, in the back of my mind, a Purdue game comes on, I always watch it. I don't know why. I'd like to go to that campus, and it could suck, but I'd still like to see it. I went to a wedding in Detroit, but I had to where we landed was near East Lansing, and I went by and I went to the stadium at Michigan State. Admittedly, for some reason I kind of like Michigan State. I don't know why, but I just do. I mean, I don't sit around rooting for them, but I don't dislike them. And I've always liked their uniforms. But I respect the tradition, and I wanted to see what their stadium was like. I like seeing other people's stadiums, and the areas in and around campus, and learning something about the local culture and the people that attend those schools and the people that work in and around those schools. These are all things you get when you schedule home and homes.
Well, and if it's a weird matchup, and by that I mean rare, not likely seen, even if it is two powers, people tend to be more friendly. It's kind of like playing in a bowl game that's not for the title. Nobody feels pressure. I can recall, before the Notre Dame annex for all sports but football, and then they do on the rotation basis play in the ACC. I can remember the bowl game down in Orlando. And the people were just so nice to each other. I was just watching from afar, Notre Dame fans and Florida State fans interact. There was no pressure in that game. We were looking for, to salvage a 9-win season, and Notre Dame was looking, I think, for a 10-win season. But this wasn't for the title. And so those fans that were there, they were there at a neutral site to appreciate the game. And they were there to just get along and watch a football game, and it was a true exhibition. That type of atmosphere happens when you sign home and homes with opponents that you would never see otherwise. Listen, it's going to help your season or hurt your season if you win or lose, but you've got no gripe. An Oklahoma fan has no gripe with us. We've got no gripe with Oklahoma. Ask them about Texas, though, and how they treat Texas fans. You get a different answer. But it's just like anything else. If you don't see an opponent but once every 10, 20 years and they come to your campus, Man, that's such a peaceful atmosphere. It's two college football fans getting
Well-
along and realizing we're all the same. We're all the same.
Save for Miami, because
Well,
those
yeah, I
fans
mean,
didn't
you
go
know.
to the school. But I would.
When's Miami ever included an example about camaraderie and brotherhood and everybody's just trying to get by?
No, I know. And I don't want to paint the wrong picture, because I sense that I am with some of you, and still others I think absolutely get it, just judging by the interaction we're getting on in email and Twitter. I would prefer a home and home if possible, so that those experiences I could be a part of those experiences and have fun with that and see what that's like. But short of that, sure, this one-off against an opponent like Alabama is awesome. It doesn't happen every year. It's unique. It's fun. And believe me, I'm excited about the game. I've wanted to see these two teams play while both were very good. You know, you go back to that game in Jacksonville that we went over to, two struggling programs that were a shell of their former selves, and the game played out that way. Seeing two elite programs, obviously Alabama has become the model of consistency and really the target for all involved in college football to try to knock off. But Florida State is now back on a high perch and considered annually to be a preseason playoff contender.
Fair to say, when we signed the agreement and we looked forward to the game, we said, man, that's going to be the focal point of the season. And, you know, the functional focal point of the season, we got to win that game. That's a big game to win. Now that you're on the eve of it, we're within a month from playing this football game, it's, well, it'd be nice to win that one, but we have so many other goals that we need to hit.
And that's the other thing maybe I was trying to talk about there that I didn't I could have used I could have been a little bit more eloquent in my effort to express that yeah, the game is important, but I'm starting to now see all of the other games on the schedule and what their importance is too, and several of them certainly feel more vital. I am most excited, if you're going to ask me about any one game, I am most excited about the Louisville game. Now, that's the vengeance that I want. That's the anger I felt based on what happened a year ago. That is also above and beyond that. Remove the emotion. Remove the frustration and what occurred a year ago. It is also, to me, a hell of a test for this defense against an elite quarterback running an offense that you know gives us problems. And I want to see just how far Charles Kelly has come in his efforts to implement a game plan and slow somebody down who does it as well as they do.
Yeah, to me, the biggest weeks of the year, and these are home games, you know, so I'm sure there's an element to that. But it's Louisville and Miami. I mean, those are the games that I'm really looking forward to seeing. NC State's not that far down the list this year either because of where it fits and what that defense could bring, you know, at the end
I think
of
NC State's defense is very good. I don't believe in them, though. I think Florida State will win that game pretty handily, other than if they're, you know, obviously worn down, beat up.
As long as they show up and they care
and
they
care
prepare
and invested,
and
yeah.
do all that
Because
stuff.
I don't trust NC State's offense to come in here and move the ball well.
But for example, all right, so I'm looking around. I always look at concerts to see if somebody's going to be in and around the 4-hour radius. And Nathaniel Rateliff added a show, and he's going to be down at Curtis Hickson Park in Tampa.
Yeah, I saw
Saturday
that.
night
Yeah.
show. It's the night of the Louisville game. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Now, if we had a noon kick against Alabama, and I could sneak on down there to Tampa, you know what I mean? Like, I would think about it. But for this, to your point, it's Louisville week. Oh, hell no. Can't do that.
No,
That's Bloodlust 2017.
That is going to be a lot of fun. I will tell you what I am considering while fans get their ducks in a row, as we all do come football season. Who's staying at your house? Where are you going on the road? Have you picked a rare road ACC game that you don't normally attend but you're going to try this year? Are you headed up to Boston? I think the weekend of the home opener against Louisiana Monroe there, that is who we're playing, right? Yeah. I do believe, I've just so discarded that game. As,
we have
whatever.
our bowl game against Alabama, our preseason game against Louisiana, whoever.
Yeah, I'm like, whatever. Yeah. I do think I'm going to board an airplane in the wee hours the next day and fly down to Miami to see Tampa Bay and Miami go at it.
Well, there you go.
I think it's going to happen.
All right.
Turn right around, fly the hell back.
Well, at least, you know, you can get there in an hour or whatever it is rather than do the drive.
It's short. It's just a matter of taking the gut punch of the cost of the flight.
Well, we could use a better airport. I didn't know if you knew that.
Just saying, affordable flights to Miami would be cool.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Brake kit and add one FlexVolt 60-volt battery pack for free. A $149 value and a Cornerstone-only exclusive. Check out the sound of silence. Almost. Power of gas without noise and fumes. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener, your DeWalt FlexVolt Center. 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon.
So your AC is on the fritz? Call Barano Heating and Air Conditioning for help, day or night. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air, 580-4029 or baranoac.com. Florida license number CAC 057652.
Investing is a long-term process. How many times can you think of in the last decade that the stock market has destroyed retirement funds for people just like you and me? For your existing IRA, you need the security that gold has provided for centuries. Remember, gold has never been worth zero. Capital Gold would like to introduce you to the Home Storage Gold IRA. It's a self-directed IRA set up with all the protection and tax benefits of an LLC. But the big difference in this IRA is you invest in gold and you hold it in your possession. You can't do that with stocks. That's security. You can transfer any type of IRA hassle-free in days. Please call right now and learn more, and we'll waive the $500 setup fee and give you a free safe to store your gold. Call 800-515-6302. 800-515-6302. 800-515-6302. That's 800-515-6302.
Back to school is in season. Fall trends are bold, and this one big sale is better than gold. It's the Goodies One Big Sale, and all you need is one Golden Star coupon to get 50% off almost everything store-wide. Get your coupon in today's deals or by downloading our app. This special One Big Sale goes all day Friday through Sunday, August 11th to the 13th. So get your golden coupon today and get ready to stock up with big savings on back to school. Goodies. What will new bring out in you? Goodies is part of our Sage family. Offer exclusions apply.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks. Ace has grown to 5,000 stores and counting. That's twice as many helpful locations as those big warehouse stores combined. But we're not just about numbers. We're about helping neighbors, because each one of our stores is part of your community. To celebrate, join us for the 5,000 store sale. We have daily offers and incredible savings throughout the store for 4 days only. Hurry in! The 5,000 store sale ends Monday, only at your neighborhood Ace. Offers valid at participating stores Friday through Monday only. See store for details.
What am I going to do about Joey? He's staying so overwhelmed with homework, assignments, and tests. He's working so hard, but I don't know how to help.
Hi, I'm Lance Davis. Let Engaged Academics help your child learn how to cope with the stresses of academics. Visit engagedacademics.org for more information. That's engagedacademics.org.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, 'cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Hey, I'm Travis with Parker Brothers Roofing. Some roofers are like a bad boyfriend. They make lots of promises, but in reality, they're just cheap. They don't own up to their mistakes, and they leave you with a lot of regret. Parker Brothers Roofing stands behind every installation, and if a mistake is made, we own it and fix it. Our customers never have to worry about being left behind for the next job. At Parker Brothers, it's quality that builds our quantity. Call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Play for a while, can't you? Do-do-do-do. The gift that keeps on giving is one Steve Spurrier. He got his shots in at a luncheon. Speaking in Shreveport, Louisiana, at the Independent Bowls kickoff luncheon. My goodness. Boy, I can't wait to get down to Shreveport. Spurrier was talking about recruiting good players and how valuable they are to a program. And then there in Louisiana, he snuck in this shot. You can have good ball players and still not win football games. All you LSU fans know about that. Oh, my man.
I believe now is the time for the obligatory "You're a Peach" line.
Yeah, it's true. And he is.
But anyways, wonderful win for us. We're happy. We were very fortunate. We know that. They're a good team that continues not playing very well when they play us for some reason.
Anyhow, that said, it actually got me thinking about something else. I ran into Tom Block today and Keith Jones, and they host a little show here called The Front Row. And I believe it'll be on our airwaves this evening as soon as my show concludes, which is a good thing for all of you listeners. And he brought up the fact that the two of them did. They were listening to Seminole Headlines yesterday, and they noted that the headliner questions, Tom, are frequently mired in negativity, that they are so infrequently pointing out the greatness or the successes and rather the misses and the heartbreaks. And they were mad about it. They just thought it was amusing that that's the case. And I said, well, if you're a fan of a school like Kansas, you can't track all the losses. There's just been so many year in and year out that you can't pick one that really stands out because there are 10 every year to choose from. Whereas at a place like Florida State, you lose so infrequently, and most of the time when you do, it is an upset. You're going to remember that one. And that's why people harp on the negative, because they are thinking back on the time where they felt that tinge of pain, where the unexpected grabbed them, and it doesn't let go very easily. We remember those moments in which we got hurt. But on a day-to-day basis, you go through the entirety of your afternoon and into your evening and on to bed, and you get up the next day and nothing happens that, was soul-crushing. You don't really remember that particular Tuesday. So that's just kind of the way of the world. I mean, yeah, Florida State fans, in some ways, it highlights how successful Florida State has been, that we all remember those moments where we caught unawares, off guard, frustrated. But that said, there is another side to it. I brought up the point that when Florida State loses and is upset, it does seem that it is usually, to some degree, not just extraordinarily painful, because wide rights were extraordinarily painful, but Miami was a very good football team. So it's not an upset. They were a great team. Those are two great teams, right? But, God, we do have a lot of examples, no matter the era, where you go, boy, that NC State game is a toughie. That's a tough pill to swallow. That Wake game, whether it's 30-0 or off the bye, is really extraordinary.
A Virginia game.
Well, right. That's what I mean. There are, and I think it's because in every one of those situations, even though we kind of dismissed the loss to Georgia Tech that year, a couple years back, where you and I we talk about it. We just got up, went in, ordered another beer, and just went, all right. Actually, I didn't order another beer. I wasn't drinking that night. But just kind of
that is true.
I was drinking water.
That's true.
Yeah, I just remember standing up, going, all right, well, that's that. But anyhow, we weren't mad because we didn't like that team and we didn't think that team was going anywhere. But to this point, that was the only ACC game Georgia Tech won. So it fits in the category of what in the hell? That team sucked. They were awful. There was nothing about that team that suggested they could, should, or have any chance to win against Florida State. And yet that happened. So I think that, too, helps answer why the questions from headliners are so frequently focused on those absurd moments, because we've actually provided some.
Well, as the resident expert on what it felt like to be a Lost Decadian in the moment as an undergrad, I can tell you a little bit of where that comes from, and that's there are so many times, especially in the Lost Decade era of dumbfounding losses, where it's akin to having a 3-foot putt, a 2-foot putt to close out a major, and
Dustin Johnson's U.S. Open.
Right.
That just missed a 2-footer on 18.
Well,
it's going to hand it to Jordan Spieth.
Yeah,
I see how that works.
Would end up being a playoff, but still, it was the Retief Goose and Billy Mayfair and
whatever that was. Yeah, David Toms.
It's something simple. It's like, you hit a ball to the outfield and somehow they ring you up at first base. It should be something that's a given.
Right.
Whether it be the Georgia Tech fumble, the Jarman Fortson drop, or...
Well, those Lost Decades teams, they weren't very good, though, either. You could make a compelling argument in a lot of those cases that we weren't any more talented than the teams we were losing to.
The Ty Jones bumps into Ponder fumble. He could have chosen 3 dudes that are wide open in the end zone on that play.
It's a toughie.
Even to a degree, the wide rights and wide left. You're in makeable field goal range, right?
Oh, 30-something, yeah.
Okay. It's like the game is won.
But a field goal is a little bit more tricky.
I got you, but the idea being you did enough on the offensive drive, you're beaten. All we got to do is finish the job here. Well, just tap it in, so to speak. Just tap it in.
Ask Miami about kicking an extra point, my friend.
But that's why. Well, yeah, but it didn't mean as much.
It's an extra point. And to them, it had to mean the world. They've lost 7 straight.
I know, but it wasn't for the right to win a national title.
No.
But
it...
even though they would have celebrated like they won a national title.
Well, and they will when it happens.
To
sad. Have been held down.
What a sad state
to
of
have
affairs.
The garnet and gold foot upon the throat for all these years, sure.
But that's why, even as we're driving down, Rashad breaks a tackle. He gets, and they'll call the horse collar, and we're inside the 5-yard line.
Did they miss a really easy call?
Well, that's why, even then, in that moment, and you knew we were going to score.
I did.
You said it.
I did say it. It pissed you off.
It did, because I've been there. Fortson, Ty Jones, Marcus Sims,
but those teams stunk, and we had the man. He was not going to make that mistake. Jameis Winston wasn't going to blow that game, baby.
Okay. And he didn't.
He did not.
But he
did what I knew he would.
To be somebody like I was an undergrad and like these headliners are where they're asking questions, you don't take it for granted.
They're not all Lost Acadians. A lot of them are. I think you're right. But
we found some special ways to lose football games.
Again, the teams that lost games in the midst of losing 4 or 5 or 6 of them, they weren't any good. I mean, that was the hard. The national media would swing and miss constantly preseason by noting that Florida State was a top 15 team and that we were going through what Miami's currently going through, where every year they would preseason Florida State in the top 15 and tell everybody how this was the year they were back. And those of us who were covering this team and were local, well, we held out hope. We tried. We wanted to believe, and maybe we lied to ourselves to some extent, but we certainly didn't have any illusions of grandeur in the sense that that we were going to go on to win a national title, be a top 10 team. We knew that those teams were lacking.
I hear you, but still, the point that we got to in each of those games, the Georgia Tech example, is a rough one. If you're just looking at talent standpoint, if Nesbitt doesn't go down in that game, we're not even in a situation where we can win it.
Oh, yeah, no.
They had to lose their stud who runs the option for us to even have a chance to win that football game.
Which was hilarious because our effort to stop that option was to have 2 guys dive at the feet of the
right,
center.
Exactly. that literally was our game plan. But to get to those points where win probability, I know we hate that, but let's just say you put a win probability on 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
It's 98.7%.
Well, the 16-0 one, certainly. It's pretty high on the list.
Well, I mean, you're inside the 5 with the Ty Jones fumble, the Thursday night at NC State. I mean, what is that, 99%?
I was at the Antique Car Museum
God.
at a charity event while the game was on the big screen, and I remember thinking, this is where you kind of got to keep it together and not say things that people at a charity event will take offense to, because that's the kind of play that causes me to utter things that I later regret.
What's the win probability? When the ball leaves Ponder's hand for Fortson, what's the win probability there? 99%?
Still got to catch the ball, and it's a pretty high percentage. I'm going to need him to make that catch.
He's stationary. He's not even really moving. He's on the ground. All he's got to do.
A very easy catch to make.
Tap it in.
Tap it. Yeah. But I do think, again, you're so familiar with your own heartbreak and the causes of it. You just to the point where you ignore that these things all exist for all of these other teams too. Florida went 4-8 and lost to Georgia Southern.
Well, buddy, I mean, they've got us beat there.
I mean, just sitting there, if you're a Florida fan in the stands that day, a game that was only on pay-per-view,
yeah,
you have to sit and listen to Larry drop and Georgia Southern has beaten the Gators.
You had to pay to watch that.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Exploring the world. Roger that. Get charged up for what's coming next anytime, anywhere with Mountain Dew Kickstart. Available in 10 energizing flavors like mango lime, raspberry citrus, midnight grape, and orange citrus. Mountain Dew Kickstart. Fuel with flavor.
RCD Shell knows how to keep you cool and refreshed. All 20-ounce Pepsi and Mountain Dew products are 2 for $2.22. That's right, 2 for $2.22. And 28-ounce Gatorade is buy one, get one free. It's more fun with Pepsi and Dew, so bring on the bubbles with these cool prices at RCD Shell.
And when you say Miami, you're talking Super Bowl, because we're the
Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers.
Hey, watch that.
Houston Oilers all the way.
Jeff, I will fight you.
Houston Oilers. That's their song. Why
No. First of all, they never went to a Super Bowl. It's our song. We're the only undefeated team.
Oh,
we're the only one that takes the ball goal to goal like no one's ever seen.
You and the rest of Miami holding on to the past, my friend. But you know what? September the 10th, it's on. Tampa Bay at Miami.
Not a chance. You know what that first loss feels like every year, because you've never gone undefeated.
Houston Oilers.
All right, let's go. Dry-aged ribeye steaks. What do you say?
I'm in. Let's bet.
It's on.
Is Bumpa's going to be open yet?
Shh, Jeff. They don't know about that one yet.
It's coming soon. All right, Bucks.
Let's go fish.
Good times. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Brent, this month's topic is classic song lyrics. You ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Here's a lyric. American history, practical math, you study them hard and hoping to pass.
It's from School Days by the great Chuck Berry. He wrote and recorded so many great hits.
You mean like TNT Supercenter sells and services so many top golf cart brands with an enormous selection all under one roof?
TNT Supercenter customers can compare the top golf cart brands side by side. Club Car, Yamaha, Star EV, and the ultimate hunting vehicle to beat. TNT Supercenter has the largest selection of carts in the area. Pre-owned carts starting at just $19.99. New carts with a 4-year warranty starting at just $49.99. And at TNT, our service center and service technicians are trained, certified, and authorized for every brand we sell.
And there's plenty of parts and accessories too, right?
Our parts inventory is huge, and we'll dress up your existing cart with a full line of Mad Jack's premium accessory products like seat kits, light kits, lift kits, and now for a limited time, save 20% on all of Mad Jack's parts and accessories.
TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to Dairy Queen in Thomasville, and online at TNTSupercenter.com.
The City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility, says it's summertime, and summertime is the time to go green and save energy. Here are a few simple things you can do right now that will save energy while you try to keep out of the summer heat. First thing, get your air conditioner checked out and change your air filters. You'll be pleasantly surprised at how much energy and money you can save. Going away from home on vacation? Why not purchase a programmable thermostat to regulate your air conditioner while you're not at home? Talk about an investment that'll pay energy savings dividends. Make an appointment right away for a free energy audit from the City of Tallahassee Utilities. You never know how much energy you can save until you do it. The City of Tallahassee is offering insulation grants. Why not apply for one? Did you know that the City of Tallahassee offers loans to help with the purchase of solar water heaters? Visit talgov.com/YOU for information on loans and rebates. So stay cool, go green, and save energy all summer long. A message from the City of Tallahassee Utilities, America's #1 public utility.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. The Atlanta Falcons are investing in their future, and that means investing in former Seminole Devonta Freeman. The two-time Pro Bowl running back agrees to a 5-year contract extension, $41.25 million. It includes a $15 million signing bonus, and $22 million of this is guaranteed. Well, if you haven't heard it yet, the New England Patriots are also investing in their future, but in a little different way. The Patriots are now the first NFL team to have their own airplanes. They're both 767 Boeings, which they will have their logo painted on and use for road games. Tiger Woods is back in the news today. He pleads not guilty to driving under the influence, but has agreed to enter a diversion program that could see that charge drop later this year. And baseball umpire Joe West has been suspended 3 games for negative comments towards the Rangers' Adrian Beltre.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live. Via the streaming free always. You don't have to miss anything. But, hey, sometimes life gets in the way, and you do. But we got you covered. All 3 hours going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault, where you can check them out with limited commercial interruption thanks to our podcast sponsor, CarltonD.com. Email the show if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter, at JCameronShow. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. And we're on YouTube. Hello, everybody. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. ESPN Tallahassee. For those that aren't, that's what you type in. You'll find it there. Devonta Freeman gets paid. Hard Knocks began last night. And the PGA Championship gets underway tomorrow morning. Good stuff there. Quail Hollow, great venue.
That Hard Knocks theme gets stuck in your head. The loop.
Yeah, it does. Well, and his voice is spectacular.
Yeah, Schreiber.
Yeah, he's really good. That was enjoyable. I'll touch on it momentarily. First, though, let's get to the big news for former Seminole great running back Devonta Freeman. He gets paid $40+ million, $22 million of that guaranteed for him, and the goal that he set out to achieve is now upon him, and good for him. Congratulations. He said he always wanted to be in a position to be able to take care of his family and change generations to come for the Freemans. He can do it. He can do it, man, and then some.
You know, it's funny. We never really had great players in the Lost Decade. We just got done talking about the Lost Decade. There were some good standouts, and certainly you can't sneeze at somebody like a Cromartie, but he was injured for the final year that he was going to play here, and then he goes to the draft and kicks ass. But when you say former Seminole great, I've always thought of that as something that, well, my older sisters or
people of my age could say.
A different
Your
generation.
sister and I are the same age, right? Yeah.
Right, exactly. But now I've had the chance to cover Winston and Freeman and O'Leary and
the
Rashad.
list goes on for days.
Ramsey, you could say former Seminole greats about people that we've actually seen in the last handful of years. Thank you, Jimbo Fisher, for changing the program and putting it in a place where that's possible.
It does highlight recruiting. It does certainly talk to, and you know what's funny about that subject? Let's go here for a second because, yeah, obviously Devonta Freeman just got paid. Good for him. He was going to hold out. The Falcons knew that. They paid the man. He's there practicing and rich. Good for him. And running backs take a beating, so I'm really glad that happened for him. And I think running back in particular, which I've been talking about, you gotta find a way because you're going to take a beating, and you better be set for life when you leave. But going back, whether it's 30 players drafted, 16 in rounds 1 through 3, 24 more signed to undrafted free agent deals, 33 players currently on NFL rosters, going back to, you go back to 2012, 2013, 2014, this run that is simply amazing. People will say, and it's simply silly because we all have these high expectations to border on unreasonable. Well, how did Florida State ever lose? Well, they won 29 straight games. When you do the thing where you say, hey, they had so many great players, and look at all of the rosters now around the league that feature a Florida State player or two, how come they didn't do more? They won a national title. They went to the first ever college football playoff, and they won 29 straight games. There's nothing to do that they didn't do. They just didn't win back-to-back championships, and nobody does, save for Bama. It doesn't happen, and they recruit better than everybody, including Florida State. So there's your exception. It doesn't happen. Florida State did, with those athletes, what they should have done. Did they win every game they were supposed to win? No, but everyone but one. I don't know what else you're supposed to do.
Yeah, we're mad at style points. That tells you how good we were.
Right, and this is the other thing, and this is the thing that bothers me because we all do this when making well, we don't all do this. A lot of people do this when making arguments for and against coaches. They will cite that if you have great players, then you don't get credit. Jimbo doesn't get credit for winning certain games, at least not amongst the ACC media that vote for Coach of the Year, because he had better players. We fall in love with guys who have less talent, that make bowl games, that win 7 games. I get it. Both are valid. Both should be celebrated. Both should be talked about and championed to some degree, and for different reasons. One's doing more with less, and another is going and utilizing the resources, the cachet, the history, the infrastructure to go get the better players and kick your ass. And if he does that, he too should be celebrated. That's what's expected. Nick Saban has better players, and they usually win the game because they have better players. But he is also a very good coach because unlike pro football and college football, part of the job, especially when you have a job at a place like Alabama or Florida State or Florida or LSU or Southern Cal, Texas, Oklahoma, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, if you have all those resources and that history and that money and that support and your university is fully invested in football, part of your job is to go out and utilize those resources by bringing in great football players to go win football games. And if you don't, you get fired. If you do, for some reason, in small pockets, I guess, of people who want to resent just to resent, you don't get credit for winning the games because you had better players. That's part of the job description. Those same advantages exist in a lot of places in which they lose 3, 4, 5 games a year. And that's how guys get fired. See Charlie Strong at Texas most recently, who I actually think is a good coach. But even before him, and I prattle on about Texas a lot because 2 Big 12 championships with all that money and all that stuff over a 16-year period is pitiful.
No, they need a presence like the Jeff Cameron Show out there, and I'm not lobbying for the Austin job, but
good city. But by the way, hold on, and I want to do this here. Let's bring it back locally. This is also why whenever I go down that path or whenever I go down that road and people go, "Oh, what the hell are you saying?" Where I go, boy, certainly would hate to see another 3-loss season this year for Jimbo Fisher. People go, whoa, is he attacking Jimbo Fisher? Not everything's a referendum on whether a coach should be fired or let go or not. But it's certainly fair to have criticisms if, and it's a big giant IF right now, he's got a gaudy record. He's done great things. His time here as a head coach has been a raging success, duly noted, has been talked about ad nauseum. But if you have back-to-back 3-loss seasons at a place like this with these resources and with that investment from the university, it is okay to say, hey, what the hell's going on here? I expect more. You might not. I do. And that's where we get into that conversation. And by the way, that can be a level-headed, even-keel, honest, fair conversation in which both sides make valid points.
Yeah, that's a complex discussion. To footnote the Austin thing real quick, Texas fans are obsessed with Oklahoma in a way that we're obsessed with Florida during the Lost Decade. It's more about, everything's about hating on them versus the prize. It should always be about the prize.
Well, it should be about what your team is doing.
Along the way, you're going to beat your rival
right.
if you get to the prize.
If you're doing the right things and establishing in place a program that reaches its potential, yeah.
But the one thing I would say in that complex discussion about referendums and what a coach should do versus, what they actually do, when do you put them on the hot seat, when do you fire them? There was an article today CBS Sports put out, or at least I saw it today. It was anonymous SEC coaches talking about, or anonymous college football coaches, but they're talking about Saban and they're talking about Jim Harbaugh and overrated, underrated. And a couple of SEC coaches were talking about why Nick Saban's overrated because they just are like a machine and they grow players out there. And the idea of that.
What was going on at Alabama before Nick Saban?
It's offensive to
a whole lot of losing.
Exactly, to what Saban brings to the table. It's like,
right.
That's why I've always believed that at minimum it's 50-50, but I've always believed that the man running the program matters more than where the program is and what the program offers. And I know we often debate this.
I think we're going to clash on this one.
Because you can have a Texas or a Miami or a Florida, but if you don't have the right guy there running the program,
that I agree with.
They don't take advantage of the resources. So what good is it to
be
Florida
or
Texas?
But you could also have Nick Saban and plop his ass down in Utah and say good luck, and he ain't winning championships.
I don't know if he's winning national titles,
well,
but I mean,
that's what we're talking about
Urban Meyer did go undefeated out there. Chris Peterson did win at Boise State and now is winning at Washington. And Gary Patterson did put TCU on the map. I mean, if you're a great coach, you're finding a way to be relevant in the discussion.
I agree with that. And I'm not saying that he wouldn't have success, but I am talking about national championships. I am talking about the bigger picture, the things he's noted for. Now, he didn't, obviously that didn't happen in East Lansing when he was at Michigan State.
Sure.
So we're going.
But LSU was nothing before.
Well, yes, but they were college football crazy, passionate, and they had money and investment, and they cared deeply about winning. Now, their success rate wasn't where it needed to be, but they had those resources and that willingness to commit to that. So,
but now they can't get Jimbo to take the job 2 years in a row.
Well, there's a lot of other factors that go into that, and we know that, but. Yes, I think the man is important, and that's why I've maintained for a long time that Miami's a better case study. They fell behind in the race, the facilities race. They fell way behind. Their facilities ended up seriously lacking, and all that talent that they're surrounded by, and all of the cachet that they had built through their championships, obviously. Had been widely discarded through a run of now 10 years, 9 years, whatever it is, to where they've been fairly obsolete, middling at best. Some of that had some NCAA cloud hanging over their head and all these other things. They haven't had dynamic coaching. They've had a bunch of bumps on a log, just sorry-ass, milquetoast, just average coaches. And I have said, when they get that guy that pushes the buttons again, and creates that fervor, that feeling of pride that Miami likes to reach back and grab even when the teams don't warrant it. When he's able to do that and couple it with a season or two in which they win 10 games, maybe win a Coastal, get to an ACC championship, that will springboard that program back into a place of prominence. And it's just getting that right guy, finding the right guy. Is Mark Richt that guy? Well, that's the big question mark. I don't know if he is or not. He's certainly a better coach than they've had, whether you're talking about Al Golden or Randy Shannon and all that. But yes, the coach matters, but I do think the investment, the resources, the infrastructure, all that, the university's willingness to go all in to win in football and seeing value in doing so has to be in place if you're going to sustain any of that.
It does, and I think we're arguing about the percentages we'd weight to a symbiotic relationship.
Right.
But at the same time, the man matters more. I mean, what's Florida been without Urban Meyer? They've had 2 chances, and they're still wallowing. But you know what? Forgive me. They won back-to-back SEC East Division championships.
I was going to say, yeah.
And that's what they'll tell you all day long. I mean, what's LSU without Saban? What would we have been if Jimbo Fisher wasn't hired here? You can't know, but I think you could guess.
Well, it depends. I don't know. I mean, I think there are other coaches that could come in here and win. He's not the only one.
We were on the brink, though. I mean, we were on the brink of being what Miami is.
Yeah, well, we were what Miami is. We were on the brink. We were. That's what we were. Just kind of.
We were on the brink of being 8 years down the road and still in the same place. Hoping, and we get that preseason number 18 ranking, and it feels like, okay, maybe this is the year that we get over that hump.
Yeah.
I think the man matters so much.
The man matters a lot. There's no question. He does. And we are. This is nuanced. You're right. We kind of agree about a lot of this here. I just think there are places you can go where you can have the best coach in football and you're not winning. I don't know what you can win at Kentucky long term or Wake Forest. You can do what some good coaches who've gone to both those places have done. Get your team bowl eligible, have a magical year or two where you're senior laden and you win 8 games or 9 games. Maybe in a year in which the conference is way down like it was here at the ACC, you can go to the ACC championship game if you're Boston College or you're Wake Forest. But that is the confluence of events that is really hard to predict and rare.
Okay, well, then we'll put it this way. I think it's fair to say that there are 15 places in college football at minimum, 15 places that have the ingredients from an infrastructure standpoint that should compete. Maybe
Always.
More.
Yeah, probably more, but we'll start with 15 is fair.
I don't think it's random chance like baseball when the ball leaves the bat, that 3 or 4 of them compete every year and like the same 3 are in the conversation.
Yeah, what Saban did was take a giant, and already, historically speaking, a giant in college football, and took advantage because of his acumen, his intelligence, his system. He took advantage of what was in place and began to win almost immediately, basically aside from year 1. By year 2, he's winning and winning big. And he was able to touch on that and reignite that fire. And then they're back all in. And now you have created a machine. But it took the man to be able to come in there to light that spark for the machine to get moving again. Now the machine is in place. And so there is a tendency, I think, to go, well, I mean, he can just sit back now. They get the best players in the country. No, he can't. It still matters that he's still there. It still matters that the passion is there. It still matters that the ability to run an enterprise of that size is in place and to be forward-thinking as he is.
And he expanded the hell out of that
Well,
thing.
that's right. And that's where the money comes back into play. Now, yeah, Jackson Rice didn't Les Miles win a national title at LSU.
Larry Coker won one too.
No, I know, and you can use those examples where somebody else builds something up, and the next thing you know, there's a carryover. Yeah, sure, and so did Gus Malzahn. Not Gus Malzahn. Gene Chizik.
Yeah, Malzahn was the OC, but yeah.
Gene Chizik won one where you have a magical player. Sure, that can happen. Yeah. We're talking about sustaining high levels of success and sustaining dominance and being able to build programs that dominate year in and year out. And I do think lots of things have to be in place for that to happen. And obviously, the greater the investment, the more likely it is to happen. But you're right. Yes, a guy has to come in. Bob Stoops is a great example. Oklahoma, an all-time great program with all-time great coaches and players, historically speaking, went through a horrific lull. And bad seasons turned into unimaginable seasons, I would guess, for OU fans, in which 3-9 was possible and happened. And then Bob Stoops, in a matter of almost no time, came in and went, whoa, whoa, whoa. And he had an idea. He had a plan. He executed that plan. And very quickly, Oklahoma not just turned it around, they won a national title, beating us, unfortunately, in the process. And it happened quickly. But it also happened quickly because all that magic was waiting to come out from that bottle, man. Those people have been passionate and longing and invested and hoping and ready to pounce the second they saw a glimmer of hope. And that was in play.
Yeah, in the same way with Spurrier. I mean, they had seen it could be done in the state, and Florida alum and trustees, I'm sure, were sick of the fact that Miami had emerged, Florida State had emerged, and here we are, the team that had a 50-year head start, the program that had a 50-year head start, and we've been passed by these people we thumb our nose at. This cannot stand, man. And so Spurrier comes in and does what he has to do to put them on the map. But it's just, again, if it was as simple as the recruiting ground is fertile, all you got to do is turn the lights on and not be a dumbass.
Right.
Then Florida would have 20 national titles. But
Sure.
Florida doesn't have 20 national titles.
No, they don't.
They've got the same amount we do, and they had a 50-year head start.
That's true. It should also be noted that the old joke about Florida prior to Spurrier going there and having the success that he did was that they had all of the arrogance of Alabama and the success of Vanderbilt. So, I mean, it was...
Was that really the joke?
It was like Wake Forest or whatever. Yeah, you insert your sorry ass.
I suppose
program
it was
there.
true, yeah.
It was Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Customers constantly tell us that they're getting several estimates to compare apples to apples. You ever bite into an apple and find out the inside is rotten? Cheap roofing quotes are just like that rotten apple. Quote looks shiny and delicious because it's the cheapest, right? But you wind up with that rotten apple that leaks or starts to fail immediately. All roofing quotes are not equal. Cheap estimates equal cheap materials, subpar labor, or both. For quality that lasts, call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Out on the golf course, there are the obvious hazards. There's the pond, the bunker, the rough, the even rougher.
Yeah, put me down for an 8.
The giant maples, the row of houses out of bounds on the right, the angry flock of geese who've surrounded your ball, even the occasional groundskeeper you had no clue was there. But if you think you found every possible hazard out there, think again. The hazard you missed could actually be a killer. It's the spot on your skin, the one that could be skin cancer. Fact is, if you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills one person every hour. 1 in 5 Americans is likely to develop a form of skin cancer during their lifetime. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. follow through, and check your skin. It could be the save of a lifetime. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
This year's Kingfish Tournament is in the books. Although the weather wasn't the best, over 55 boaters registered for the tournament, and Sea Quarters Marina would like to thank everyone that came out. $50,000 was raised for leukemia research this year, which brings the total to $915,000 over 14 years. The winning kingfish, caught by Team Bill Collector, weighed 47 pounds, and the winning Spanish mackerel, caught by Team Neil Brooks Electric, weighed 5 pounds. Additionally, fishermen donated approximately 1,000 pounds, which will be sold to raise funds for leukemia research. Sea Quarters Marina hopes to see you at the 2018 Kingfish Tournament.
Wonder what the outrageously energizing experience of Mountain Dew Kickstart is like? Well, it's like a combo of 3 awesome things. Dew, juice, and caffeine, rebooting your entire personal operating system.
Mountain Dew Kickstart is in position for consumption. All systems cleared for launch. Initiate launch sequence. T-minus 3, 2, 1, mark. Release the Mountain Dew Kickstart. Mountain Dew Kickstart released. Experiencing a charge of Mountain Dew Kickstart now.
Mountain Dew Kickstart operation successful.
You are now off the couch and out exploring the world.
Roger that.
Get charged up for what's coming next anytime, anywhere with Mountain Dew Kickstart. Available in 10 energizing flavors like mango lime, raspberry citrus, midnight grape, and orange citrus. Mountain Dew Kickstart. Fuel with flavor.
RCD Shell knows how to keep you cool and refreshed. All 20-ounce Pepsi and Mountain Dew products are 2 for $2.22. That's right, 2 for $2.22. And 28-ounce Gatorade is buy one, get one free. It's more fun with Pepsi and Dew, so bring on the bubbles with these cool prices at RCD Shell.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer. 574-4100. And presented by TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, Georgia. And Franklin Spring Creek Ford. You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Pretty cool to read James Wilder Jr.'s tweet. We used to sit in our college rooms and talk about it all the time. You talked it into existence. Congratulations, my brother, at Devonta Freeman, with the headline that reads, Falcons reach 5-year, $41.25 million contract extension with Devonta Freeman. And Freeman, again, guaranteed in that contract over $20 million. And that's, we were talking about it today. What's it like, that moment where you get the signing bonus, around $8 million, whatever that is for this? How do they do that? Is that a direct deposit?
I don't know. I saw 15, but I don't know if that's like an actual signing bonus or if that's upfront guarantees of the 22 pool.
Right.
Whatever. Let's just say you get $20 million guaranteed.
Well, let's just say that on the day you sign the contract, 6 to 10 million of that is coming home with you.
Okay, so you get 10. After taxes, you're figuring around 6, and then you got to pay your agent, and you got to pay state tax. So you're seeing, let's just be conservative here, $4 million is what you're taking away.
Hefty cost for an agent. Sweet Jesus.
Well, what the state taxes and athlete taxes, because there's taxes for every state you play in, and there's a whole bunch of crap that you have to go through.
Let's say closer to $5 million.
All right, so you walk away with $5 million.
That's pretty cool. Pretty good day at the office.
Oh, buddy.
What a day that's going to be. Suffice to say that the kind of celebration that might take place upon receiving said $5 million check would be counterproductive for my efforts in the next day's practice. I got to say that, Coach, I'm going to miss tomorrow. I know you just paid me a large sum of money to not miss tomorrow. I think I'm going to miss tomorrow.
Actually, it's a clause in the contract is that I get to miss,
yeah.
tomorrow.
Can we put that in there that tomorrow I don't have to be anywhere? I'll be in tip-top shape the day after tomorrow.
So what you would do...
Pants on the floor, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's happening in their office. Sir.
So you probably have, another 5 or 10 coming to you after all taxes, at minimum. So you go buy a couple of $300,000-$400,000 places and then just soup them up around the country with that kind of money?
Okay, so, again, this is how people end up broke. But I think.
I didn't say $1 million homes.
No, right. Well, you can take care of, obviously, your family with a $300,000 house, right? They don't need, yeah. I do wonder, we joked, this is part of the fun of the lottery game. This is where people win $100 million. If I won $50 million, if I won $30 million. To me, the great fun in that game is not only imagining the extravagant ways in which you could spend the money, but really the more subtle ways in which you could surprise people you care about and how cool it is to be in a position to do that, let alone all the stuff you can do for charity, of course, but even yourself, right? Even to sit down in a given night and try to decide, okay, so remove all that I'm going to do for my family and for charity, which I'm going to do, and I've already got a good idea what I'm going to do with that. What am I getting for me? That's a fun night. That's a pro-con list that is a fun thing to do, right? To fill that out?
Buddy, I don't even want to sound like some sort of self-righteous person, but I've hardly even thought about that.
No, I haven't either until just now, and I thought that's a fun exercise.
I don't even know what I get myself.
Well,
I always like the idea of taking care of.
Yeah. Oh, of course you do, because you're a good person. And I, too, would love the idea of shocking my parents and my closest friends and those that I know are in need and charities that I've always wanted to help out more and whatever. But I'm saying there is a moment where the reflection and the idea of having all that money turns to you, where you get to do something nice for you. What is the first thing? We never think that way, and all of my friends and people that we bring this up to, either it's because certainly it sounds good, but also because they are well-intentioned, decent human beings, they do think of all these other things. But turn it around on yourself and think for a second, what are you buying yourself? What is something you've wanted to do that you now could do in the drop of a hat, and it wouldn't seem extravagant, it wouldn't seem absurd, and even if it did, who cares, because you can.
I think I would buy the highest level VIP package I could for the Ryder Cup. I think that's what I'd do. That'd be the first thing.
Really?
Inside the ropes and
like you'd go online and go, what's it? Okay, so it's going to cost me $10,000 to get this package.
I'd call up Trey Jones and say, Trey, high rollers in the game.
Right.
Who gets the best access and how much does it cost? And I want to know because I want to.
Because I'm gonna buy it.
Well, because it's a 3-day event, and I would do the one here in the States. And it's,
no, I'm the opposite.
You would go out to Europe?
I'm going out to Europe. Because I can drive anywhere.
Be outside of Paris,
that'd be awesome. Now I'm in Paris watching the Ryder Cup. Hell yes.
I want to be amongst the Americans.
And
the American
I want to go represent America abroad.
Well, who says you can't do both?
Well, you could with the kind of money we're talking about here.
Right.
You could buy both of those packages.
Okay, we go to the next 10 Ryder Cups. You're all set.
All right. I like the way you think, T. Lizzie. I'm in. Let's do some Ryder Cup loving. Hurry up and win the damn lottery.
Been so lucky in this job to experience so many sporting and growing up. I mean, Stanley Cup Finals. I've yet to be to a Super Bowl, but I've been to an NFL playoff game, been to an American League Championship Series Game 7, been to the national title game, a college football playoff game, the Rose Bowl, you name it. So lucky. But the Ryder Cup that's the white whale of sporting experiences. I can't wait. I'm going to do it. I'd prefer to do it with a lot of money, but I'm going to do it.
One way or the other, you're going to do it.
Oh, hell yeah. That and the Army-Navy game.
Yeah, and we have it in on the Army-Navy game. I got to take advantage of that situation.
Well, that would be nice.
Yeah. Now, let's see if I can get us rolling into the Army-Navy game. By the way, SI's Top 25 has Alabama at number 1, and guess who they have at number 2? That's right, Florida State University. And what they write about that would be this: SI Top 100 players, 6. Ready for those 6? Bet you can name one of them. That's right, Derwin James. But they have Cam Akers on that list, Noddy, Sweat, McFadden, Francois on the top 100 players in college football list. And the hopes rest on the improvement of their offensive line, and center Alec Eberle is poised to make the biggest jump. Off-season hip surgery has allowed Eberle to once again participate fully in lower body workouts, and the 6'4" junior is bulked up to almost 300 pounds after playing much of last season at 285. Florida State won 10 games last year despite allowing 36 sacks. If the line and sophomore quarterback DeAndre Francois, who occasionally held the ball too long, can cut that number by even 1/3, it should produce a more consistent offense, keep the defense from facing bad field position. Eberle and the line also need to generate a much better push up front to help the young running backs. And here's where we go back to almost the beginning of the show and the conversation about the Alabama game and the different aspects of that I'm worried about. That's all true. And I think in time, as this year goes on, that group will. I just don't think they will in the first game against Alabama. And that's how and why you can't predict Florida State to beat Alabama. Because you don't believe, if you're like me, that they're going to come in ready to push people around up front, and that spells death against Alabama.
The one thing I would offer, and again, it is kind of hedging while accepting everything you're saying, this is kind of like a bowl game, not just the way it feels, but in the way it's going to be played out. These games are typically sloppy. This isn't Alabama as a fully realized machine. There's a lot of players on the field for Alabama this year that don't have a whole lot of experience. I mean, actually playing an opponent of this caliber. The experience, it's with us more than it isn't, especially when you look at the two defenses.
Mm-hmm.
And it's and you would think in game one the defense is going to be ahead of the offense. Well, I like ours better than I like theirs. Now, when it comes to what our offenses are, if you want to get into a bit of a street fight, they actually have the quarterback to do it because they've got a quarterback who can, create plays and improvise, which is just so anti-Alabama and the party line for the Crimson Tide since Saban's been there. But that's the case with this year's team.
Also, they really play well in these first games against big-name opponents. They've largely throttled these types of teams in these types of games. And that's where we get back to, hey, look, man, yeah, sure, the machine's in place, but they got the best coach in college football.
They do, but I mean, isn't it also fair to say, for example, the USC game is what we point to, and the dismantling of USC. USC didn't have its quarterback, and the quarterback didn't have any experience. Period. No,
we're better. We're better than that USC team a year ago. Sure.
It's just these games can be wacky. They can be sloppy, and you can walk away saying, I'm not sure what the hell I just watched, but, it was a compelling football game. The Michigan-Florida State game was not played. The Orange Bowl was not played at the highest level of efficiency.
Not sustained, no. It was in spurts for both sides. Yeah.
And yet those are two teams that are considered to be top 10 or top 12 consensus throughout the entire season.
Well, that gets us to another discussion when we get into coaching. If Michigan's not real good this year, and there's a possibility that they're not, I mean, again, with the Harbaugh stuff, people, I got you. Took a team to the Super Bowl. That goes an awful long way, and you win at Stanford. That, too, goes an awful long way.
He took a team with Colin Kaepernick to the Super Bowl, Jeff.
And I would say this, a much different Colin Kaepernick played for him than is currently playing in the NFL, or not playing in this case in the NFL. That guy looked like he could play. The one that's played the last few years doesn't.
Meanwhile, Alex Smith just keeps on chugging.
Check down Charlie. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Health insurance? Call us. Do you want somebody else to do all the legwork and search thousands of health plans from over 180 health insurance companies nationwide? Call us. We're Health Markets, and thanks to a little-known solution, we could help your business save thousands of dollars on health insurance costs and save your employees money too. Our service is free. Don't miss the great savings. Call now.
800-478-0834. 800-478-0834. 800-478-0834. That's 800-478-0834.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is DBA of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., licensed in all states. Product availability varies.
Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Our lifetime warranty is a game changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Hey, this is Clay Culpepper with Miller's Tree Service. Summertime is here and storm season is right around the corner. We offer free consultations with a certified arborist where we meet with you and advise you on which trees are healthy, diseased, dead, or ones that may need trimming or even removal.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Give us a call at 894-TREE.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube. Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This day in sports history.
August 9th, 1936. At the 1936 Berlin Olympics, American track star Jesse Owens won his fourth gold medal in the 4x100 meter relay race. Although he did not run in the prelims, Owens participated in the final. The team set a new world record of 39.8 seconds, which was held for 20 years.
Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. The Atlanta Falcons are investing in their future, and that means investing in former Seminole Devonta Freeman. The two-time Pro Bowl running back agrees to a 5-year contract extension, $41.25 million. It includes a $15 million signing bonus, and $22 million of this is guaranteed. Well, if you haven't heard it yet, the New England Patriots are also investing in their future, but in a little different way. The Patriots are now the first NFL team to have their own airplanes. They're both 767 Boeings, which they will have their logo painted on and use for road games. Tiger Woods is back in the news today. He pleads not guilty to driving under the influence, but has agreed to enter a diversion program that could see that charge drop later this year. And baseball umpire Joe West has been suspended 3 games for negative comments towards the Rangers' Adrian Beltre.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
How about that? We got preseason football on tonight to go with probables as well in the NFL, eh? You know how when you do the thing where you look at the top of whatever website you go to or the bottom, wherever they place their headlines and their scoreboard, and that moment you recognize as you look up, what do we got football to go along with my baseball scoreboard. That happened to me earlier today. I was sitting there reading, and I looked up, glanced up, wanted to see what time the Pirates were playing. And when I did, the first thing I saw was Houston, Carolina, Wednesday, 7:30, NFL. I went, it's infiltrated my scoreboard look. It knows how excited I am. It's like, hey.
I'm excited to watch second and third teamers play football tonight. I'll watch that Houston-Carolina game.
Yeah, you will. And tomorrow, if you'd like, you can watch Atlanta and Miami and Minnesota and Buffalo and Jacksonville and New England and Washington and Baltimore and Denver and Chicago, Philadelphia and Green Bay, New Orleans and Cleveland.
You have sufficiently warmed my heart. That's like 3 layers of blankets.
If you miss some of those games, you'll get up on Friday, go to work, come home, and watch Pittsburgh and the Giants play some football. Perhaps San Francisco and Kansas City. And if that's not enough, you'll get up on Saturday and say, you know what? Time to watch a little Titans-Jets. Okay, not going to watch Titans-Jets. Dallas and the Rams play each other as well. And then Oakland and Arizona will get it on. Then we got a little Denver and Indianapolis. Yeah, it's all there for you, baby.
Well, Friday night does also feature the
Tampa Bay Buccaneers and fire them cannons against the Cincinnati Bengals.
There's the dagger! There's the dagger!
You know what's weird about Hard Knocks last night in reliving the Super Bowl run? They played the highlights and they showed Chucky and they had Gene's call. Made me smile listening to Gene talk about that. But then also, as you and I noted on and off the air, I am reminded, and I have been each minute that's gone by since you brought it up, that I felt this way last night in watching John Gruden, and that is sadness. The weight gained and the longing, the loneliness in that man's life. John, go give that playbook to somebody in earnest, somebody who pays you to coach their team, not just somebody who shares a love of the sport that borders on unreasonable.
You know, I haven't changed anything about what I do. I still game plan every week. I still have my own playbook. I just don't have a playbook to give to anybody. And
when he said he comes up with his own playbook and game plan each week, he just doesn't have anybody to give it to, I thought, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard. What does his wife think when he's like, hey, honey, heading to the office to put together the game plan?
I call my brother. I say, hey, Jay, you might want to try this week. He doesn't answer my calls. Sometimes I watch games on television, and I see that's precisely what I would have called, but I didn't. And so nobody's giving me a high five.
I do think that's got to be the weirdest thing when that alarm goes off at 3:22 or whatever asinine time it is he gets out of bed these days, which is probably 3:22 like it used to be. Wasn't that the time, 3:22?
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, I'm picturing that guy sitting up, raring to go at 3:22, literally racing off to his office that he still maintains with the film room, breaking down tape, putting together a game plan. Now, obviously, he's probably doing it for his Monday night matchups, but oh, man.
I break this thing down from every angle possible, man, and then the next thing I know, I'm looking at Sean McDonough. Doesn't really feel the same.
No, he really should get back into coaching if that glimpse into his life is any indicator of how much he misses football and doesn't like being at home. I mean, I don't know that he even looked at his wife who was sitting next to him that entire time before they brought him up to announce the honor of being in the Ring of Honor for Tampa Bay.
There's only one support structure that made this entire endeavor possible, and that's Mr. Glazer. And I want to thank the late Mr. Glazer for being my rock well, never mind.
Yeah, that's it was a sad moment. It did. It broke my heart. I went, oh, John.
Not the time to say pound that rock there.
I almost texted you. I didn't know if you were still up because you've been getting over sickness, and I thought, man, I don't know if I'm going to text him here, but instantly I felt a compassion. Just, oh, John.
Yet he's making millions of dollars.
Yeah, but
so,
for him, he doesn't care.
Matter,
he doesn't care at all. No. It's the grind. It's the coming up with a game plan. It's seeing the execution of that game plan. It's winning. It's competition. It's the time on the practice field with the fellas spent, blood, sweat, tears, screaming, embracing, cheering, all of that. And he doesn't have any of it. And that's why he said, I live right down the road if you ever need me. That was crazy. That was perhaps the saddest thing as he was leaving after he had been largely dismissed by the people in the room. He's leaving, and I live right down the road. You're like, John.
Yeah.
John.
I actually have a feeling in the pit of my stomach thinking about that. You know?
the line I live right down the road.
You need anything.
Well, because here, let's just say
anything, guys. I'll go pick up your donuts.
Right. It's Rocky with the spit bucket.
Yep.
Rock. Right? You don't have to Burgess Meredith. Don't know.
Mr. Cutter, here's your bear claw. 2 sugars in the No cream, 2 sugars.
It was. I thought about that, and then also I thought I wish they hadn't treated him that way. I was a little angry, but also
because Dirk was cracking a joke at his expense.
That was not a friendly.
That was not. He misses ball. Isn't that guy awesome? Boy, that guy misses ball, doesn't he?
Think that guy misses football? Jeez, sweet Jesus, John. Get the hell
Loser.
out. Yeah. He was that close, wasn't he? And that's machismo, man. That's coach, and that's,
Get out of my kitchen.
Right. That's what that is.
You were a good enough cook to be on the wall here.
Yeah.
But
you don't need to be here.
You're not
you
the
don't
stove anymore.
No. And I was thinking too that as far as that sadness goes, we all know that guy. That's the guy that everybody knows that doesn't get invited to the party, and people are speaking in code because he's in the room, and everybody knows they're going to the party later, but nobody wants Jerry to go to the party, so the party's not mentioned, even though everybody speaking in that room in the moment, save for Jerry, is very aware 1 hour from now we're all going to be together sans Jerry at a party that he would desperately want to go to.
Coach, you're gonna make me beg here. Can I call a play? Just one play.
Probables, please. I can't do this anymore. It's bothering me.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Jerry leaves. I thought you were going to screw it up, Keith. You came very close to mentioning that party. Oh, no. I knew Jerry was here. Don't worry.
Could be third-team situationals. Just let me call a play.
Damn it, man. Stop it. Don't do it anymore. It's bothering me. I want to call John Gruden.
I like me. My wife likes me. Sort of.
Marlins, Nats, Adam Conley, Gio Gonzalez. Yankees, Blue Jays.
He's Del Griffith.
Oh, he was for a moment.
My wife's been dead for 6 years.
He's not homeless.
No, I haven't, John.
I'm right here. I'm right here. Yankees. Yankees, Blue Jays. Masahiro Tanaka. Nick Tepesh. Whoever the hell that is. Red Sox, Rays, Rick Porcello, Jake Odorizzi returning to the rotation. Pirates, Tigers, Ivan Nova, Justin Verlander. Pirates have taken the first 2 from the Tigers, just thought I'd note. Padres, Reds, Travis Wood. This guy's name is Asher Wojciechowski. Phillies, Braves, Jared Eichhoff, Sean Newcomb, and Astros, White Sox. Astros, White Sox. There's more games, Jeff. Colin McHugh.
All right.
Miguel Gonzalez. Twins. I'm still thinking about his poor wife.
I'm not dead, John.
Twins, Brewers. Barthy's saying it with a straight face.
I just made you dinner.
Bartolo Colon. Royals, Cardinals, Trevor Cahill, Mike Leake, Dodgers, D-backs, Alex Wood, Zach Greinke, and that's a look at those that shall resign on the bump. Oh, we got to write this skit. Are those seconds or minutes?
Minutes.
Oh, man. I hope he does take a job. I'm serious about this because I really did feel the desperation there. Whew. That poor man.
Like, he puts his visor back on. I mean, think about it, too. You know, the Glazers' sons are the ones that he had a spat with.
Yeah.
So he's not exactly happy to be in their company. And yet, he gets on the stage and he goes, I feel more comfortable putting on my visor. And he's like, please, give me the tap dancing shoes. I got no problem. I'll perform. I'll do whatever you guys want me to do here. I just want to be a part of a family again.
Well, you know, I mean, I think the thing is, too, he he has dropped hints occasionally in the past that there's where he feels compelled to coach. And then I think logic, reason, those that care about his health, etc., get a hold of him and say, John, you're making millions of dollars to work a couple days a week. What? You don't need it. You won a Super Bowl. You achieved your goals. You got out early. You've been able to spend time with your family, if he's actually spending time with his family.
I've got free Hooters for life.
He's got it made. And this is part of, I think, the bigger picture. One thing you notice whenever you get insight into these guys that end up performing at an elite level and maybe even being briefly the best at anything in the world, they're never normal. If you watched the Defiant Ones, which you haven't yet, but one thing that happens, which you haven't yet, Tom, but one thing that happens is that you don't come away from that either thinking that Dr. Dre or that Jimmy Iovine or any of these other guys that have made innovations and money beyond reason, that have been are legendary status, that they're happy. They're not. There's an emptiness to them that they can't. No amount of money, no amount of fame, no amount of success will fill.
Yeah, it's not about the money.
No, it's not about the money.
It never
at
was.
all. No.
That's how they got to where they were.
Yeah, but then it gets weird because then you start obsessing over things that reveal mental illness. Good work out of you, sir. To those that called in,
This
or
wouldn't have played in Tampa.
To those that called in or listened, I surely do appreciate it. Have a great night, everybody. Be well. Talk to you later.